Stroger.
Ruthie.
Yeah,
Man, there was rumors that you weren't coming back.
I heard the same thing about you.
Maze had gotten on your. Maze had gotten on your last nerve.
Yeah, it was Maze.
That's what I was thinking.
One person said it was you though, and I was like, yeah.
Who would say that? Trying to think.
Okay.
Who would that be? Byron.
Ruthie, center yourself in that camera. You could turn it.
That way, right?
Let's pull this. Let's move that. We got everybody locked and loaded.
Can you see my shirt?
If you tilt it down, you got plenty of space to tilt this camera down. If the camera will tilt. Damn.
Okay.
There.
My wicked butt now.
Beautiful.
Get up, get up.
Okay. So yesterday we had great audio. Today they're conspiring against me. Okay, so now I got my speaker ready.
Burp.
What can you get for free from Experian?
Nothing. Put you down.
Hey, rise up, rise up. Don't you know you can fly? Wake up, Chicago. Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger, back in the building. Plus, we got Miss Ruthie Moore in the building, y'all. I feel like the team is back in the building. I think we got time to clear up some of these rumors. You know what I'm saying, Todd? Everybody was trying to, you know what? People was like, did Maze do it again? Did he tick somebody else off? And I think you was just playing right along, like, yeah, that Maze, he did it again. And then Ruthie came back in the building yesterday, and we ain't had no problems.
No, I listened to the show. It sounds good.
We saw you yesterday. We seen you watching and commenting.
Oh, okay.
Cassandra Reyes said you could have been at work and then went to the game.
You know what? I noticed that too because I thought it started at
Now you know it's the Black Caucus Golf Outing. Like it was going to start on time. You better see that. You see Ty. You know what? We got to keep Ty grounded. Ty was there like, hey, where is everybody? And it's like.
Actually, that's exactly what I was sitting in the car just like. Twiddle thumb, twiddle thumb.
I'm going to tell y'all. Now, I'm going to tell you. I remember, I did the Black Caucus Golf Outing one time. And I remember just all of the shenanigans prior to, before the switching of teams. I was like, you did not pay to be golfing with Richard Dick. They be like, yeah, I know, but, the Black Caucus Golf Outing, it be, first of all, the white folks come with their cash. The black people be like, you got an empty spot in that foursome?
Well, I put the first 2 or 3 together. I can't remember. And I was like, come on in. Now, that's before the foundation took over and, it became a huge event.
Paulie. That Paul Williams there yesterday. Come on, Todd.
I still think they should put every person who was in the Black Caucus on their mailing list at least.
Yeah, I think, I would think that the Black Caucus should be almost like a fraternity. Right, they give them a plate. Shoot, I was just down yesterday. I was on Wells Street yesterday, and I saw who was the former state rep, retired state rep. His name was Joe. I mean, he just had straight on his plates, Joe.
Sound like you made
Retired
that
state. I felt like it would have been more appropriate if it was out west. He'd been like, "What's up, Joe?" Right?
Was
What
he
up,
white?
Joe?
I don't know. I didn't see him.
It could be Joe Lyons.
That could be it. Big old truck, yeah, probably. That might be it. All right, y'all. This is the Mace Jackson Show. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Todd's back. Ruthie's back. Ruthie, how you feeling with Todd back across? You all right?
You know, when I first came back yesterday, I thought Todd was gone because he didn't want to see me.
Ah! He don't want these. Ruthie said he don't want these problems. He don't want these problems. All right, now you hear in the background, but she does not have a camera today because we got to start picking the right wires. This is Miss Sonia Escobar, the music conductor of the Soul Plane. Sonia, how you feeling this morning? What up? All right, well, look, it looked like we got everybody. We locked and loaded. We got the Soul Plane on full tilt. Let's get this thing up and away, 60,000 feet. All right, the Kenosha cop killing. Officer shoots Jacob Blake 7 times in the back. The brother is alive. I'm going to also say that we had his cousin on the show. Who recycles? Is it Jason?
Jason.
I
know who you're talking
but
about.
he always is at the protest with the red, black, and green flag.
Yeah.
He is the recycle king. Remember, he came on the show.
He calls me.
Yeah, and says, "Did you recycle?" Look, I'm gonna tell you, he's got one of the only black recycling things going on, and first of all, the fact that this gentleman that was it Jacob Blake, father of 6. 3 of his children in the back of the car when he was shot. Apparently he was trying to break up an altercation. The police came, he bounced. The cop grabbed him by the back of his shirt and started busting.
Of course, because if there's some kind of trouble, grab the black man
and kill him.
This ain't the first time police have come and grabbed the black guy, even though he had nothing to do with the real trouble.
What they always do.
Did y'all watch the footage of it?
Yes, and actually, let me say this.
Disturbing.
I'm almost at the point where I don't it's like, tell me what happened. I think I know how this is going to end.
Right.
I don't even want to see the free. Like, when they did the first freeze, I was like, I don't want to see it again.
Right.
I don't. I'm tired of watching black people murdered. This whole defund the police. It's like, boy, oh boy, what a conundrum we're in. Then you got the Democratic governor calling out the National Guard on the black people who are pro. Do you see this just giant circle? I want to talk about this.
Well, it's the governor's job to try to make sure don't burn down the city.
It's
what part?
Could somebody tell Mayor Lightfoot that? And JB? Because, JB, like I asked her, she like fire. She like it so pretty. Look at the orange. Like, she looks at it from atop her fort, from a distance. Those fires in the distance.
From her fort.
Can I tell you what Chicago reminds me? I remember when we landed in Zimbabwe. We landed the plane in Zimbabwe. Not the Soul plane, another plane. And I remember coming in, and we were on Air Zimbabwe, and it was already a rickety plane. We land, like, the stewardess was sitting next to me, like, "What's up? You ready?"
My kid got said, "This is a DC-10."
It might have been. So the plane, as we're coming in, you know how you look at a city when you're coming in and it's all lit up. It was completely dark except for fires and the runway.
Really,
bro? I'm telling you. Then when the cop, they came and picked us up, and we driving through the town, through the city, and it's like we driving through this Escort with Jeeps and all type of stuff, and you see fires, just like lit fires, and it's like
just for lighting.
For light, and people were, they like at night they turned off the power. Like, you had to put a card in to get your power to turn on every day. Like, it's like prepaid power.
That's like futuristic type
No,
stuff.
it was actually, and then, like, I'm gonna tell you though, they were efficient because they sure had, them kids had, everybody had a cell phone. They skipped the wired part of phones and they went straight to cell.
Money is.
And then they used first time I ever saw a solar cell charger was in Zimbabwe, and my dumb self didn't buy one. All right, y'all. I don't know how we got there, but the cop killings, man. I just don't know. We're going to redefine what it means to be an American. I think Mayor Lori Lightfoot would rather we eat cake from her and watch as the city burns from her fort. But we're going to talk about what
kind of cake though.
Well, I heard you got a cake from Roser's the other day.
I
A
did.
strawberry for Janine. I told you I put you on, didn't I? I put you on. Janine! I did that. Yeah. I did that. I hooked your man up. That's all good. Look, y'all.
I'm trying to figure out how long can I wait before I go get another one.
They prefer you come back tomorrow. Hey, this is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Todd, Stroger, Ruthie Moore, Sonia, Escobar, up to 60,000 feet. We'll be back after these messages. Okay, guys, I'm going to be doing a little playing with the sound today. So I want to see if you all tell me. Ruthie, I need you to watch again, and I want to see if they can hear. Ask them did they hear the Willie. Did y'all hear Willie Wilson? Okay.
One can't hear.
Huh?
One person said can't hear.
Okay.
I was awful yesterday, Henry. Took me 12 holes to finally decide I didn't have to try to hit it like I was the Tasmanian devil. It was hot. I was terrible. It was a terrible. That's a bad combination. Let me just tell you.
Okay. Now, let's try. Okay, the guitar in. I'm so glad I found you. You are listening.
People in the world.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger, as well as Miss Ruthie Moore. Y'all, you know what? I am feeling some kind of way when it comes to this whole RNC convention. Let me ask y'all, did y'all
Oh, you
watch?
wish you were there, don't you, Maze?
All right, Ruthie, do me a favor. I'm checking the audio again, so make sure to see what they're saying. If you all are listening on Facebook, first of all, this is What's in It for the Black People Radio. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger, Miss Ruthie Moore. You can catch us, What's in It for the Black People Media. You can listen to us on the radio, right? You can also check us on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. You can also listen on the TuneIn app. All right. RNC convention. Do I wish I was there? No, I don't. I do think. How do I put this? I did. So, how does a brother do this, man? You know, I think like when I was looking at this whole thing, I was saying that. I didn't feel like it was that crazy. I mean, I feel like the Latino woman who was like, "And I'm going to take you," I felt like she was the queen of the South, right? But besides that, like, I thought, quite frankly, Tim Scott did good. I liked this speech.
I didn't hear it, but I've been reading comments, and a lot of people seem to think he did do well.
I think it's weird because I feel like we are supposed to be mad, but we're gonna talk about this. I just think like no, I wonder I felt like I was waiting for the plane crash and it never came. Right? Like I was waiting for the plane crash. I was waiting for them to have the aha moment, and I did not necessarily see it. So I think we'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it a little bit later, because what I really want to talk about is what makes you a sellout.
Oh.
Right? Like because I saw the instantaneous reaction that that Tim Scott was a sellout and all types of stuff. And then I was like, dang, what the brother do? What did he do? All right. 81 new police officers came in today. Did you see this was the first group of police officers that took the youth tours?
Yeah.
Youth-led tours?
Becoming a police officer this day and age takes a special type of a person. And so I don't know.
You know what? It's going to be interesting. Like, I wonder, like, cops and robbers. Like, what kid wants to go up and be the cop these days? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was thinking about, like, do you remember Chips? We used to always fight to be Punch and John, right? I used to want to be Punch. Everybody wanted to be Punch. Nobody wanted to be John, except the white boys, right?
John was very white.
John was the class. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
And Punch was like, but I just think, like, do kids even play cops and robbers, and who's on what side? I don't even think there's like good cop shows anymore. Like, let me just back up. You know, like there used to be a time when there was cops were heroes. Now you see all the bloody guts. Like they beat their wife, drink, do cocaine, and they cricket, all type of stuff. And then it seems like
they moved away from the cops, except for that, I guess, Chicago PD. It seems like it's all forensics now.
Well, right. And then you see all the gross stuff behind forensics, and you be like, I would be crazy too. All right, y'all. This is the Maze Jackson Show. Let me go. What else we got? Did you see Ruthie, You Can't Go Home?
Oh, Kankakee.
Kankakee and Will County have now eclipsed the 8.8% and 8.3%. So now they are,
Ruthie,
the governor is putting them back.
Have you been talking to the...
You know, I think one of the big driving factors out in Kankakee is the Shapiro Development Center, the state-run hospital. A lot of staff and residents have been testing positive. So I think that's really what's driving the rates up out there.
Those are like
Ruthie, you too smart.
No, I just you say Kankakee, my ears perk up. So I got to keep up with Kankakee County.
I appreciate that insight. You know what I'm saying? I think, well, first of all, did you see the thing where they was talking about how the government, how we've been giving these companies billions of dollars in Medicaid, and they've been using it, not putting it into the facility?
Where'd it go?
They've been using it to do other stuff. Like they like these poorly run facilities, and they use the money to build other infrastructure and get rich. Rich, Medicaid rich, man. I'm telling you.
Let's just build a new building.
Right. Let's build a new one and leave
Put more
the
people in it.
Right. How about 40? Okay. So who told me this wasn't true last week when I told you that they was releasing killers? Was that you, Todd? Who said I was not crazy? So here, did you know that
I tried not to listen to you, so it couldn't have been me.
Okay. So did you see that there are 43 people on home monitoring, electronic monitoring, who are on murder charges?
Oh, if I remember correctly, you were saying that some of these people are
repeating getting out on COVID, right? And I told you that my inside sources say that there are serial murderers being released back into the street. Now I call serial 3 or 4. And again,
that's enough for me.
I think like if you are on the case for murder, you probably need to sit. You need to sit.
But isn't that the judge who decides,
whoever got an electronic monitor on that's got a murder case, that makes me nervous.
I've seen a lot of Law and Order.
Right, I've seen a lot of Chicago blood and guts. Hey, y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Todd Stroger, Ruthie Moore, Sonia Escobar will be back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
This secure moment is brought to you by Secure Home and Automation, your premier authorized Bring security dealer. Home invasions occur every 23 seconds, fire every 85 seconds, and medical emergencies occur suddenly. In times like these, get secured home and automation and an affordable wireless home alarm system with professional monitoring. This includes fast emergencies response, free security analysis, free equipment, and free installation. A limited time offer, be proactive. Call today, don't delay. 708-251-5069. That's 708-251-5069. The first 10 callers receive a free camera valued at $250. Call now, 708-251-5069, or visit our website, Secure Home Automation.
This is what they're hearing.
Static cross signal.
Yeah, the static just went up. Okay. So Sonia, you need to turn up. Sonia, you need to turn up. My headphones. All right, guys, we're testing the audio again. I want to hear, when we go back live, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put the audio back in, and I want to see what you get. I'm upgrading this piece of equipment tomorrow, but I'm trying to see if I got the right process. So this is the original version. I got it when it's powered. I want to hear, when we go back live, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put the audio back in. All right, Ruthie, we're going to monitor the audio again. I'm going to actually turn this on during the broadcast so I can hear, because I watch people's faces instead of getting it I want to. So watch their comments, if you don't mind. When we go live, I'm gonna test the sound. You want to hear what they're hearing, and then I'm gonna come back on. I gotta figure out how long is the delay.
Black people in the world.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd, Stroger, and Miss Ruthie Moore in the building. Hey, y'all, it is time for the social media question of the day. How do we define sellout? I've asked this question before, but I think we're at a unique time when we need to think about it. I watched. So here's what I want to do. I want to start moving towards. I do feel like I'm a little bit biased, right? And I don't think I'm biased in that I am a Republican as much as I am biased in I really want the Democrats to do right by us. And I feel like Jesse Jackson put it pretty succinctly in today's Chicago Sun-Times. What he said was the Democrats demonstrated their ability to have a better character. They won the character contest over the last couple weeks. Over the DNC convention. They proved that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are good people, but now they have to pass the agenda test. And I think that's where we are right now. So I decided to watch the RNC, Republican National Convention, because I thought that it would be a great opportunity for me to see the difference. And I watched Tim Scott. I actually watched Tim Scott's. I fell asleep last night. So this morning I got up and I watched Tim Scott's speech. And I thought it was pretty good. I really thought that he delivered it. I saw my man Deion Steele, who I consider pretty black, right? I woke up and he was like, I saw Tim Scott's speech. He is not an Uncle Tom. He was not a sellout, etc. And so I want to ask you, how do we define sellouts? How do we define a sellout? Give us a call. Here, I'm about to get the phone lines lit, right? I'm about to not get them lit, but I'm about to turn on the phones. So what I want you to do is give us a call at 872-259 7474. Let's start here. Let's start with you, Todd. How do you define a sellout?
Well, if I'm going to define a sellout, and I probably don't do that very often, I just think it's someone who ignores the facts to make a point about something. So, like the president, people will go all around him being just like all the rest of those real estate developers and trying to keep black people out. They'll completely ignore him trying to get those young men executed in Central Park and saying that I don't care if they were free. I don't know exactly how he put it, but he didn't care if they were innocent. Sticking to it, and people trying to make it sound like that behavior is good for us. That's a sellout.
Oh wow, that was a lot, Todd. That was.
I tried to make it more succinct, but I didn't.
All right, so Todd has given us his idea of a sellout. Ruthie, what's your idea of a sellout? So it's okay. So what's your idea of a sellout?
So that is a very tough question. I think the best example that I have is Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas.
Amen and hallelujah.
That's the best example.
Give it to me. You give me. So here's what I think. I think that you are elevated in your thought, and so I think you gotta. I think we say these things.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me why he's a sellout.
A few reasons. He ascended to the highest, the Supreme Court justice, and I feel like he did not do enough for black people. Not only in him being quiet a whole lot on some of these cases that could affect black people, but also his wife being one of the founders of the Tea Party.
What?
He's a great example of he and some of the other guys who came through the system were put in places because people in the South, and as soon as they got into a high position, they said, all right, see, that didn't work here. That shouldn't work for anybody else. Let's just stop.
Okay. So, interesting. Sonia, can you turn up the speaker mic, please? We're gonna take it out. We'll come back. All right. So you got as a person who. Let me back up. So a sellout for you is a person who does not. No. Wait, I don't get it. What is a sellout? Tell me what you define. How you define a sellout? Clarence Thomas is because his policies. What now? Give me that.
So I think a sellout is contextual. So we can use the example of Clarence Thomas, who is a Supreme Court justice.
Okay.
The highest of the high. And so if you ascend to the highest of the high, what do you do with that platform to benefit black people?
Ooh.
And I feel like he ain't doing much. I mean, he's pretty quiet.
Turns back on
a lot
everybody.
of sessions. Like I said, his wife was one of the prominent Tea Party members. Y'all remember the Tea Party when Obama was? So I think that is a true definition of a sellout. But I do think that the word sellout is contextual. And it does apply to people, but I think it's based on ideas.
Okay, let's to So that based on that premise, we got sellouts all over the Democratic Party. No? Yes?
I don't know. You said it. You
I
point,
mean, you don't
you
have
point them out.
Yeah, you got to give an example. You gotta call them out and give the example.
Okay, so let me try. All right, so I'm going to give us a call, 872-259-7474. How is that? You know, I want to know what y'all got with the sound, too. I changed it up a little bit. So check it out. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Woo! I don't know what a sellout is because I feel like you all are allowing politics to define sellout, right? In some cases, and I'm also say that I think if that's if you get to the power and you don't do anything to help anybody, Todd, I think you a sellout there. Cause when you got to the power, you sure did help me, man. You sent me down the aisle, sent me everywhere around the world and back.
Well, if we can just point out one thing in the world, I can call a few people sellouts, but there's a bigger picture. And you're right. I mean, it's not just politics. We're just kind of sticking with that. I think there's some people in business. I just don't know the business world that well who've gotten up to the top, and then they're not pulling anybody with them.
Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Let's go. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Let's go to no. How about this? Sonia, didn't I give you some clips? Let's go to some clips. Let's start with the can we go to the Tim what's his name?
Scott?
Tim Scott speech. I sent you the Tim Scott speech on CNN. I sent that to you this morning. No? So what clips did you get that I sent you? Huh? So, okay. So here's the deal. I got a bunch of clips. I'll send them to you when we come back. The first thing is I want you all to hear the first 2 minutes of Tim Scott's speech because he was very clear about where he came from. He was black. He failed high school. He said he went away. He got a job working at Chick-fil-A. He got a job working at Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
And after he got a job
working.
working. Oh wow! So what? See,
Chick-fil-A. That's you can't get more Republican than Chick-fil-A.
Okay, let's do this. So let's play. Sonia, let's start with the first 2 minutes of Tim Scott's speech. Can they hear? What? He got a job. No sound? At all? So they weren't able to hear us talking? Never mind. That's all good.
She knew that if we could find the opportunity, bigger things would come. I thought I had to use football to succeed in life, and my focus on academics faded away. My freshman year, I failed out. I failed 4 subjects: Spanish, English, world geography, and even civics. Trust me though, after 7 years in the Senate, I know I'm not the only one in Congress who failed civics. But even while I was failing the 9th grade, my mother always said to me, Timmy, if you would just shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you'll be among the stars. She never lost faith in me, even when I lost faith in myself. Because of her encouragement, I went to summer school and caught up. The next year,
I need you to turn up the speaker.
John Moniz, a Chick-fil-A operator.
The speaker.
John saw something in me that I did not see in myself and started teaching me valuable life lessons. Like having a job would be a good thing, but creating jobs would be even better. Having an income could change my lifestyle, but creating a profit could change my community. He planted the seeds of what would become opportunity zones. This initiative that the president and I worked together on is now bringing more than $75 billion of private sector investment into distressed communities. I took those lessons to heart and started putting the pieces of
Oh my
life
God.
back together. I realized a quality education is the closest thing to magic in America. That's why I fight to this day for school choice, to make sure every child in every neighborhood has a quality education. I don't care if it's a public, private, charter, virtual, or a homeschool.
Not the phone
When
line.
a parent has a choice, their kid has a better chance. And the president has fought alongside me on that. Later in life, I started my own small business.
Gotta turn Todd down.
It is critical for us to have a tax code
Down.
that encourages
Yeah.
growth. We actually saw
That's good.
revenues to the Treasury
Mine.
increase
Down.
after we lowered taxes in
Down.
2017. But rest assured, the Democrats do not want you to know that. After starting my
All right, y'all. That was Tim Scott. I thought that Tim Scott was pretty relevant when it came to telling his story. I think it was a story of a lot of young people. It's funny that you said going to work at Chick-fil-A. If he worked at Chick-fil-A, he was a sellout. Do you know how many black people work at Chick-fil-A? Like, just think about that.
No.
Like, honestly,
Not
if you go to downtown to the Chick-fil-A on State Street, it's all black people working, right? It might be some Latinos in the back. If you go to the Chick-fil-A on
No, I take my words back.
and
I've been to the Chick-fil-A on Chicago. It's not all black.
but it's a lot of black folks. It's a lot of black folks working. I'm gonna tell you, when you went through this speech, when Tim Scott was going through the speech, he said that he met a manager, the owner of that Chick-fil-A franchise, not the main manager,
Right.
but the owner of the franchise, who said, hey, and taught him the value of hard work, right? And then said, hey, instead of just working and having a job, why don't you create business and create some businesses? And while you work as an employee, you can work and make yourself better. But if you start creating jobs and businesses, you can then make your community better.
I like it.
It was interesting to hear because we didn't get through all of the clutter. And I don't, it was the fish argument. Give them a fish versus teach them to fish.
Nah, I don't think that was for one thing, I don't think there was an argument at all. He was just giving him some economics.
Who gives black people economics? Most people say get a job. Or how many people, let me ask a question. How do we get out of this as employees?
I'm not saying that he wasn't giving him good advice, But I am saying that everybody's not going to be able to.
I wholeheartedly agree. But I'm suggesting that the people that then are going to, where do they? I just think we shoot ourselves in the foot by automatically just disqualifying people because of their personal experience. Let's do this. Before we go through it, we can talk about part on the break, and then we'll talk about it when we come back. Hey, this is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Todd Stroger will be back. Okay, I'm getting frustrated because I don't understand why I can't get this speaker to work. No. I've been watching you. Going out, baby. So I know the speaker ain't broke, right? Cause now, baby,
that look in your eyes. I'm not shy. Oh my thing now, baby. Now, wow. The way to Paris. Todd, what can I do? Wow. Yes, I do. Time with you. The way to Paris, girl.
turn it. Jesus Christ. When I whisper in my ear now, baby. Girl, what can I say to you?
I want to shake you down.
Woohoo! Okay. This thing.
Mom,
You were a friend of mine.
keep every line.
Father, sing of the joy and pain. Up our hearts. Oh, talk to me so you can see what's going on. You got it? Whoa,
What
say a
genre
prayer.
is this?
Sing your song. It was The Wire.
Soul.
Evermore, evermore. Gonna be some sweet sounds coming down on the night shift. Oh. I'm fine. All right, on the night shift. Oh. You are listening to your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd, Stroger, and Todd. I'm going to tell y'all what. It is the social media question of the day. What makes you a sellout? Tim Scott said he went from cotton to Congress. He said in 1999, I mean, his grandfather would have turned 99 years old. And had he lived to see him, he saw him go from cotton literally to Congress. He said he's the first congressman. He also pointed out that
He's the last congressman?
first congressman to go from Congress to Senate. First black person to go from Congress to Senate.
Oh.
He was actually elected and beat Strom Thurmond's family. And he pointed out the fact that in Charleston, South Carolina, where the Civil War started, right?
Oh, man, that's like the bastion of slavery.
And he was literally like, I made it there. So I guess my question is, it worked for Tim Scott.
Yes.
It worked for Tim Scott, and I don't think that because he found a path forward that we sell him out, right? I think, how do you succeed in this? How do black people succeed in this country realistically without economics?
I got nothing against Tim Scott.
Okay, I just wonder.
Ruthie does. That's why she's so quiet.
No, I don't have anything against him. I think that once you do, quote unquote, make it from Congress to cotton, it's about the rhetoric. Don't try to make me feel bad because I got left behind.
I don't think he tried to make anybody
that.
feel.
I feel like it's kind of like that's what a sellout does is in front of white people, like it's like a public display, economically, socially, politically. Like I think you can define sellout in so many different ways, and the way that he tells his story at the RNC, I think that does kind of make him a sellout.
So not the
rest of them must be lazy.
I don't think he said that. I think he's what. So I guess that's my point. Because I think, so if we talk about the true, so
It's inferred that there's, as we talked about before, to pull them up by the bootstraps.
I don't necessarily think he said he got pulled up by his bootstraps. I think he said that he was introduced to a different way of doing it. I will be honest with you. I quite frankly think that a lot of our black folks don't even know how to get out of poverty.
I feel like okay. Well, he should be telling us this.
I think he did. I think when he said the opportunity zones, right now, I'm gonna just say
That's funny because I think the most important was not to articulate that. Was that his mother stuck by him and said, "You can do this."
I thought so. Your mother can stick by you and tell you to do this, but you don't know how to do it. Like I guess
Half the battle, in my opinion, is having your parents stick by you and tell you this can be done, you can do it. I think the problem that a lot of our people have is their parents aren't even involved at all.
I think
in
that
the
you ain't
education
never.
process.
That's interesting because I would say that if I've never seen anybody do it, I'm not taking advice from somebody who ain't successful.
Look, my dad's parents, his father went to 3rd grade, his mother went to 8th grade. He graduated from college. He got a law degree. His sister graduated from college. He got a master's in education from Northwestern. Their parents didn't do it.
What happened?
Their parents didn't graduate. They didn't even go to college. Now every Stroger that's my children have gone to college and graduated.
Okay, well, let's talk about it. I just think it's interesting. So I will be interested to know, how do we get out, right? I was thinking, here's the things that make you a sellout if you're black. You're a Republican, you're wealthy, you talk proper, if you've had success. Those are the things that a lot of times people instantly call you a sellout for. I would be curious to know how many people listened to that speech yesterday and thought that Tim Scott was a sellout. Let's talk about it more when we come back. This is the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back. I feel like, again, and this is okay, guys, I gotta use the other event.
Alright, we're about to switch it up on y'all again.
Inclusion and equality, prison reform.
So we're gonna use this mic for now. I'm through messing around. Yesterday everybody was like it was great. Then it went away today.
And I want to serve
that's all good.
Every man,
I'm impatient. I have the new piece coming in and it's powered, and it'll deal with all of that.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for Senate 2020.
Okay.
We got some good definitions on social too, so just let me know you want me to.
Okay, I'm gonna let you jump in now. I have been completely distracted the whole show, so I just want y'all to know I have that. Else I would have debated my points much stronger.
I ain't got no points. That was your problem.
What you think? You don't like when people call people sellouts?
No, I think.
Are you kidding? I bet you he uses that. He talks about Brian Moss like that all the time. I just had to throw him in there.
No, I don't. I'm starting not to like it. Right? I think it used to be. I think it's convenient.
Oh, okay.
I think that sellout is convenient. Is a convenient excuse. It takes a lot less thought to call someone a sellout than to figure out where they came from. Like, I feel like, I honestly believe like Tim Scott is an American success story. Mm-hmm. I think
I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about him.
Man, she just said he was a sellout.
I said the way he presented.
I mean, how did he present as a stand-up mode? Like,
if you at the RNC, you know it's the RNC. It's 2020. You using coded language.
So I'm saying again, you're saying
that you're better than other black people in front of these white people, and you pulled yourself up by your bootstraps after you failed 4 classes, and y'all all can do it too. Y'all need to stop being lazy. Like, it was just very don't talk to me like that. Especially not at the RNC. Then you selling out, bro.
So I said, being a Republican makes you a sellout. I felt like
stuff he was saying.
I want to talk about that in a second. Hold on, I'm trying to get the exposure right because I'm black.
Y'all.
Oh yeah, Todd. Okay. Let me loud. All right. So first of all, couple things. I think that I actually found Tim Scott's speech inspirational. I also thought like his whole concept of the cancel culture, the description of the way that we live in America right now was accurate.
I had never heard cancel culture until like Sunday.
No, cancel culture, I mean, it's been going on for a while. It's like the millennials be like, man, they go back in your history, they find your shit, they be like, man, you did this, your ass is done. Or it's like if you're a comedian, like you can't even, like if you tell a joke, like part of being a comedian, and to me is being offended. Like comedians are like
offensive.
Yeah, like comedians, like could you imagine Andrew Dice Clay? Like shit, Eddie Murphy, like all these motherfuckers gotta recant everything they fucking did in the past because they go back and they say, remember that time you said, right? Like remember when the word F, when you could say, and it was just common? Like, so say somebody goes back and they say,
you see how we haven't learned things from the gay people? They don't allow that word, but we'll use the N word like, oh, like 40 going north.
So again,
I don't mind being over.
No, no, they won't allow anybody else to use it. They use it. They won't allow other people to use it.
They may use it. I'm not in the group, so. But I believe you.
But I feel like
they don't use it in music. And I know.
If you have the I feel like what do you say at a like if you're a black Republican? What do you say?
Basically, you say the rest of those guys are lazy.
You feel like that's what he,
See
you
how
feel
I
like
worked
that's
hard?
what he said? No,
Yeah, that's what he said.
I feel like it is a lot of lazy niggas. It is. It's like I can tell you how many times I have offered people jobs or given them jobs they don't want to work, they want to check. I also hold on, and I also there is a whole generation of young black people. Tennille can tell you about it every single day, right? That we have made every single excuse for why a motherfucker can't work. What? I'm straight up. Like Joe, I went to work.
I don't talk about it a lot. I had a business.
Oh.
The hardest thing in the world was
Finding some niggas to work.
Yeah.
Yes. Man, ask about the steakhouse. We couldn't find nobody that would come and show up and be on time. To invest in black folks to work is to actually work, to do the job, not the job they want to do, the job that you need them to do. Right? And it is a point where I agree with you with your parents, but my parents was like, you ain't finna lay around this house and not do shit. Right. Like my parents was like, yo dog, you are now 15, go get a work permit. And they did say get up, and they did say don't be like that nigga over there. Mm-hmm. They was like, this is not acceptable, this is not a norm. Like, so if you think that you finna be like these people that's walking around the street, I'm not having it. Right. So I'm not having it. You're gonna get your ass up, you're gonna go to work, and it's just like this right now. If I lost everything right now, I would work 4 jobs. I would go work at Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell, and whatever, and I would work 30 hours a day until I made what I needed for my family.
He forgot to say he worked at Chick-fil-A.
I would work at wherever but I've worked at everywhere, and I do think that there's
restaurants are your thing.
But I think there's this component where it's like we excuse every fucking thing. Like I'm not saying you go to the RNC and you say that, and I don't really feel like Tim Scott. I feel like Tim Scott said it's not impossible. It's like, and I don't believe that it's impossible to succeed. Now there are a lot of impediments, right? And his job wasn't to go up there and talk about the impediments. But again, he said, and I'm gonna tell you, I admired his path. I did the same fucking path. I worked at Burger King. I worked at McDonald's. There was 2 types of black people that worked at Burger King and McDonald's. It was the ones who worked at Burger King and McDonald's and was like, man, I'm going to get over every moment I can. And then it was me, who was Calvin. It was the mugs who was taking the food out by the back. I was doing that too. But I was like, and then when I understood what food cost was, though, and I understood how it affected the bottom line, I stopped doing all that stuff. Right. And I saw a path up. I had my boys that we all worked at the same Burger King together. There was a point when I said as the manager, y'all gotta stop. We gotta stop taking the cash register.
I've seen the same thing happen when at Popeyes. The guy who was in the room next to me quit school. He worked at Popeyes. He gave us some extra chicken. Then he became the manager. Because I can't do that.
Right, because then you realize that it's a bigger freaking world than just your 2. Yeah. And I'm gonna say, like, when I was at McDonald's, there was a white dude named Chuck, mob dude. He wanted to own a McDonald's. He came to McDonald's. This dude showed up in a Mercedes. I mean, he was straight mob. Showed up every day, and it was like there was my guys that worked there with me that I all got jobs for, but they didn't have a desire. They was like, man, this is just a moment, right? Chuck was like, damn, dude, you work, you clean your station, you work hard, you do everything by the book. Like I was trying to be the and I climbed. There's a reward for that. And it's like, I feel like we just think like, damn, you just supposed to show up, do what the fuck you want, and it's supposed to just fall out of the air. It's like, no, there is black or not, there is hard work involved in success, period. So when you say, man, how did you build a radio station? It wasn't like I just woke up and somebody gave me some money. It's like I'm at this motherfucker every day, right? I'm doing something every day. I'm working hard every day. Now I'm gonna go tell that story right? If I tell that story as to Maze, how did you build a radio station? Or how did you build this entertainment network? I'm going to say, man, I talked to some people. I got on the phone with this guy. They gave me some inspiration. They said, you can do that shit. There were white people in that mix. There were black people in that mix. Mm-hmm. They said, the white guy said, this is how you put the money together. Don't use your own. Do this, and this. Put me on the path. Now, if you ask me, right now I'm providing a service to black people.
Right.
If you ask me how I got to that point, I'm going to tell you the story. Does that make me a sellout? Now, if I tell that story at the RNC...
I don't think Tim Scott's a sellout for telling the story.
Okay, come on. Let's go.
I like stories, actually.
Hey. Woo. Woo, not Todd. Todd got the intro together today. It's going to be a split screen. I messed up. Y'all had me hyped up. Ruthie, get ready for your comments. One, put you down. Shine, shine, you're beautiful inside. Hey, rise up, rise up. Don't you know you can fly? You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Hey, I got Miss Ruthie Moore in the building, plus Sonia Escobar, y'all. We are talking about what does it, you know what, first of all, we're going to save some time because I want to talk about what happened with Jason Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Sonia, also make sure you got Maya's piece for me. All right, because we're going to talk about, I remember my niece Maya talked about being black and being shot and her fear of being shot. We're going to play that because I think it's timely. But I want to go back to what we were talking about. Yeah, I want to talk about defining a sellout. I think I felt like Tim Scott resonated. Ruthie was like, "You don't be going up in front of them white folks talking like that." Todd, you don't know. We don't know where you at. You like, well,
no, I know exactly where I am. I don't mind them telling this story. I'm fine with it. But I realize that is the Negro role at these type of conventions. I did it. Why can't they?
So
exactly.
So let me ask a question. So when that successful Negro, so who's the successful Negro and who tells their story at the DNC?
I mean, hey, let him tell it.
I'm asking. No. So is it the same thing?
What?
If I'm a black success story from the Democratic Party, I don't know too many black Democratic success stories that they got to put up there like that, right?
No, you know plenty of rich black.
I know a rich black Democrat that helps everybody else. The rest of them, I don't know about them success stories. I don't know about that. Ruthie, give me what you got on social media. How do we define a sellout?
All right, so we got some really good feedback on sellout. So Marcus said a sellout is a person who willingly will take money for personal gain instead of investing it in our own community. Crystal said, personally, I can't stand the word sellout. It actually creates more division. And Alvin said, I'm going to learn the value of hard work from the same people who forced my ancestors to work for 400 years for free. Really?
So I guess my question is, are we capitalists? Or are we I think, you know what, Tucson, I'm gonna have to stop quoting Tucson. He said we're the commodity. We're the commodity in this capitalistic society. I think that is true. And I think until we figure out how not to be a commodity, right? I think we're gonna be in the space that we're in.
I think we've forgotten some of the things that we learned from some smart people in the past, like Booker T. Washington. And part of that is, if we did for self more, we would be in much better shape. I was just telling Hans this. If we did things with ourselves more and let that dollar run through our neighborhood 10 times, then we'd be in great shape and we wouldn't be always trying to figure out how to get them to love us.
Let me ask a question. Then do we have Democratic sellouts?
Yes, you told me about one once.
Who?
The guy who told the group how to make $30 million in the
the Target group.
You never said the name before.
Oh, Dash! I mean Target stores. Yeah, when they no that Target, right? Well, he came to the meeting. I remember you talking about when I had $30 million when I had the rental companies and they had $30 million to spend. And the black guy came to the rental car companies and said, "I can show you how that $30 million. I can make that $30 million, and you don't have to $3 million spend and look like you did whatever, right?" And I was like, "Wow." I swear to God, I called Carl West right after that, and I said, "I know how." This guy his name was on every single major project during the daily era.
Oh, I saw him all the time.
And it would be like every black person that needed something had to go there, and if it was like, really,
But you know what, no, man, let me just say one more thing. I think part of the issue with his speech has to do with the overall way that the Republican Party uses the quote-unquote American dream, and how a lot of black people don't necessarily have access or have not had access to the quote-unquote American dream. So his speech was very, this is my story, this is the American dream story. And I think, ain't nobody trying to hear that.
That's interesting. And I guess, what do we want to hear? The American Nightmare story? Like,
That's
I mean,
what we live in.
And so how do we, I guess my question is, this is going to go to my other point a little bit later. How do we define American? Right? Like, my goal is to live the American dream. Now I'm going to say, and not house and picket fence. I want a big ass house with a big old fence. And
you want Donna Reed?
I want see that. That's why Carrie gonna whoop your tail when she come up there, right? He put me with a white. I can't wait for Carrie to just turn her key in the door, and Todd gonna look up and be
that's
like,
why I don't stick around.
So I sometimes y'all make me feel wrong for that. Like, sometimes y'all make me feel wrong for wanting to have a nice house, have a nice car, be able to provide well for my family, not really have to worry about bills. Like, I just want to...
No, I don't think that we're saying as you do that and as you succeed, you can't ignore the problems that are the yoke around black people's necks that hold a lot of us back.
I don't ignore them, but I also want to acknowledge that there are some yokes that we put on our own necks.
Sure.
Right? And I think, like, we try to. So here's my thing. Let me say that institutional racism exists. Hard stop. We in our community, though, do have a response. Like, if we wasn't talking, if no white people was listening, I'm gonna tell you that and there was no white people watching, there's a significant portion of our community that does not have or know how to work.
But why though? So work skills have to be, workforce development is a huge thing. A lot of our young people don't have the social emotional skills to even look somebody in their face. And so how are you going to have the discipline to get up every day, to go to work, to dream, to look that person in the eye? Like, those are characteristics that a lot of, not just young people, but a lot of people don't have.
And so what do you do with those people?
That's my, like,
you have to develop those skills. And so that's why, like, workforce training programs are
hold on. How many of them we got?
But the ones that we have are not necessarily addressing the problem. You can teach somebody how to fit a pipe, but if you can't teach them how to work out conflicts, then how are they going to be successful?
It's like defunding the police.
So
no, it really is. It's that same theory.
Well,
you teach different skills for the different situations. So Ruthie is saying that we're just teaching people how to work when they have other issues that prohibit them from getting to the job every day.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, Maze, you got that from your parents instilled that within you. You got that. A lot of people are missing that.
And again, like, I agree with that. That's why I keep telling you, when I tried to hire people, I got these issues. Now, I'm gonna ask you, realistically, like, should we go on national TV and say that realistically 40% of our population does not have the skill set to function in normal society. Is that the better story?
I think that's a generalization when you say normal society. Because how do we define normal society? Is it through the lens of the white person's American dream?
Hey, look, I've seen that kind of argument a lot lately, and I've been thinking, look, normal society is, for me, a society where I walk out, just like in my neighborhood now, I walk out and I can stand around and do nothing and not even think about getting shot.
See, and I guess,
or have to kick somebody off the corner because they're selling drugs.
And I think even the debate on what is normal society is a challenge, right? Like, again, we could take all the sexual alphabets and all of that stuff out of it, right? When I think of normal society,
I wasn't even thinking about those people.
Exactly. When I think of normal society, I think like being able to prosper without somebody taking my stuff.
Yeah, basically.
Really. Like, I don't really want nobody to do nothing for me.
And not have that stress that makes me die at 65.
Right. I'm not looking for... I'll take care of my own kids. I'll train them. Right? And I'm saying, if you're saying that we have kids that don't have those basic skill sets, and we have to address those, like, what we're talking about is Ret 102 again. Right? Like, we can't even put our people on the field to go to college, right? Until they take the remedial classes of all the stuff that they missed.
Right.
Now, the rest of the world is operating at a different space, right? It's like,
and I would say, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but there was a certain amount of people at Wisconsin who were able to start with the rest of the group, but it was hard to
they would fit in or keep up, and they fell back. It's the whole cultural experience being thrown in. Then you find out that you was the valedictorian of a school that's underperforming. So then you find out
that group.
Well, but no, I'm saying,
but
and then
yes,
there's the other, and then there's the socialization, because then you got all of these racial pressures that come, that if you ain't never seen a white person before, now all of a sudden you defending yourself from stuff that you never had a concept
right.
of.
You're one of two black people, FUR,
yes,
in the whole class.
But I guess my question is, so, like, are we suggesting that we then do have a group of people that are not prepared to function in society as it exists now that allows them to succeed?
I vote yes.
Ruthie,
say that one more time.
Do we then have a class of people who are not prepared to succeed in society as it exists today? Is there a class of people that just are not ready to be on the board? Like, do we have to go back and say, like, we have to re-socialize you?
That's tough.
Well, I mean, you just kind of said...
That's tough. I mean, because I don't think you can necessarily generalize it that way, because, again, how do we define what is normal and what success looks like?
So let's say this.
Is success working a 9-to-5, or is success being an entrepreneur?
I think there's paths to
both.
success.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We gotta define success.
Okay, so again...
Well,
success. How about this?
Where you not going to work.
How about this? Where you don't have to depend on... Let's consider success where you do not have to rely on the government to provide your needs beyond infrastructure, right? Like, if you depend on a check, if you depend on government aid, if you depend on some sort of assistance permanently,
right? That's your life.
If you have figured into your life plan that part of your annual budget for life is going to require a check, a food stamps, and it's planned. Like, I'm counting on my food stamps forever. I don't know I guess I'm scared to even question what normal is, because I feel like normal is just being able to take care of yourself. And I'm saying, like, people who can without becoming a predator.
Some people don't know the bigger world, so they don't have a true realistic picture of what we would consider normal life.
But and that's my point. right? Like, I know people that have lived to 50 years old and have never had a job and are not an entrepreneur. We live in, I feel like black people live in like in a lot of cases, like in this purgatory-ish existence.
Yeah.
Right? It's this existence that is between normal, and I'm gonna say normal based on white people, right? God, I give it to you. House, crib, not, kids going to school, nobody going to jail, and
I just call that normal.
But I mean, like, I feel like that's basic. Like,
yeah,
that's a question. Like, I think that we have pieces and parts. Even the premise of going to prison is normalized in our community. Now, we're much more likely to go and be charged and all of those different things. But even the normalization of it, like people being like, it's a fact of life. And I guess my concern is, how do we get to a point where subsistence is not our existence? And that is, I like how I did that. I guess normalization is when subsistence is not your existence, when you can kind of enjoy the fruits of life, right? It's not a treat to go outside. It's not a treat to go downtown. It's not like you don't feel like, woo, I'm glad I walked over to this. I was over on Wells Street yesterday, and me and Carrie was both like, damn, this is crazy. Like, I mean, white people was down, like, didn't nobody have their car. They was walking. Everybody had a dog.
Right.
And I was just thinking, this why they mad that y'all came over here and tore this stuff up, because y'all disturbed their normal existence. They was like, what the hell? And so let's talk about it. I got a bank full of calls. You know what? Did I miss a break? I did miss a break. Sonia over there jumping up and down. That's why I got that TV. Let's go to the live line, though. I am going to go to the live line. Let's go to caller. Make sure your phone is off. I'm going to go to you, caller. Hello? You there? Caller? Yes. Who's this? Hello? What's up, Ron?
Hey, look here, guys. First of all, I agree with you all. In Mays, I agree with you. No more workforce development programs. First of all, those programs are usually geared towards people who are really almost beyond the age where you can help them. I'm just going to say this real quick, guys. Years ago, a writer for the Tribune, Mary Schmidt, asked people to write in and let her know about a lady that was like a mother but wasn't a mother. So I wrote. It was a manager at a Jules Lane 7th Street, Mississippi boy, and I was telling her we were beggars. Miss Smith said, well, she said, hey, Ron, can I talk to you? She said, of all the entries I received, I found yours the most interesting. And basically what I told her was that she's told us, you show up. You show up on time. You be dressed appropriately. But when I talked to my friends about that was like 72. Our parents had already instilled that into us. Lastly, I used to go and play sports and stuff when I got out of school. My father would tell me, if you can't be back at 7 o'clock, then don't go. There are no excuses. So I just want to say that, guy, at the end of the day, if you don't have it in your family, there's not a program out here that can help people who do not have those basic skills. The money has been spent. And it's just not working. So always enjoy you guys' show, and thanks for letting me make my comments.
Hey, Ron, we appreciate you calling, man. Thank you very much. Let's go to hello, caller. You on the call? You on the line?
Hey, good morning, Maze. Good morning, Ruthie. Good morning, Todd.
What's up?
Welcome back, Ruthie.
Thank
you. And you know what, Maze? Bro, you my dude, man. But I gotta agree with Ruthie, man.
The volume is currently set to 90%.
Yeah, we can hear you. I'm sorry. Turn that off.
The mic is muted.
That's good.
I made it, but not understanding that you went through the same hell I went through. Maybe you was mentally stronger than I was, but don't have compassion for me because you know what I went through. But then you get in front of mom and daddy, which is white America, and you want to boast and brag because you
overcame this mental destruction, this mental warfare that we all went through. As you looking at your little brother, like, you need to get up, you need to pull your bootstraps, you need to, I did it, why you can't do it? That's selling out. Because you know the hell he went through, but because you made it, you think he should have made it. And no, it don't work like it. We all went through hell, but we want, like I said, we like a woman in an abusive relationship, but we want to make excuses for the abuser. No.
What do you want, James?
Tell the world what your brother went through. Excuse me, go ahead.
So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to suggest that I think we all know what we're going through. I think we got every example of a downtrodden, ass-kicked black person. Every example, hold on. Every example that you see is a black person shot, whooped, ass kicked, beat down. Martin Luther King, we shall overcome something. That is the example that is put in front of us. You see yourself as a beat down, abused member of the society. Now, what I am suggesting is, it don't, for a success, I didn't see that brother saying, hey, y'all ain't, I did it, y'all didn't do it. He said, hey man, y'all got, hold on, I'll let you talk. There has to be a point, when we say, look, they ain't giving us nothing. Like, you gotta put some work in, dog. And I feel you that you got your butt kicked and you crying, and it's like, well, how long are we gonna keep crying? It's like, cause the world is moving. And it's like, James, you get your butt up every single day, and you go to work, and you call me, and you load your truck, and you do all the work that you ain't special, cause you do that. I ain't special for getting my tail up and coming to work. I don't ask you to give me a clap for getting up and doing what I'm doing. I'm saying that we have some responsibility to ourselves. And it's a certain point when I gotta say, when mom and daddy is gone and they say, clean up the damn bathroom, and you lay around and you ain't cleaning because you like, man, mama be tripping all the time.
Can I say this? Can I say this, man?
Yes.
This mentality that we're speaking of, no one is born with that mentality. It's the situation you're born in that creates that mentality. Now let's deal with the situation they're born in, and maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation. You understand what I'm saying?
I think there's more than one way to deal with this. I'm not debating that. I'm not debating that at all. What I'm suggesting is y'all can't be mad at somebody. You like, man, I'm gonna tell y'all. And James, I appreciate your call. I was thinking about how many, like, I think about the rich black Democrats, right? That help. And the first thing, they don't do something you want them to do, and they a sellout. They a gatekeeper. They a Uncle Tom. They this, they that. It's like you can't win.
Yeah.
And I'm saying the fact that we're arguing against the value of work, period. Like we're arguing against the value of investing in. Like, I am not saying you pull yourself up by the bootstraps, but I am going to ask. Are we putting ourselves in the best position to take advantage of the situation that we are in? I would argue no. In some cases. Not a lot, not even most. Because I would tell you, just like you would tell Chicago that there's murder all over the place. No, there's 100 shootings a week. There's 1 million people here. So it's a lot of fathers doing what they're supposed to do. Right. There's a lot of families doing what they're supposed to do. Nobody tells that story. And who tells the story of the black entrepreneur? Because quite frankly, when you go to the Democrats, you ain't got nobody talking about no business. They talking about a social service program. Now, what he said, but Earl Graves was a Republican, right? You think about the success of black business.
Of course he was a Republican.
I'm not suggesting that we need to be Republicans. That's not what I'm hearing Sonia laugh. And everybody else too. Look, this is all I'm saying. I'm saying that everybody, we cannot keep buying into the myth that that there's going to be some great program that's coming that's going to save us. Nope, it's just not going to happen. And I'm saying, like, and so just like that, each one teach one, like, something got to happen in our own community. And I just think that we always put up you know what you're going to see at the Democratic, what was it, the Mothers of the Movement last year? All the people whose mamas got killed. Right. And they put them up there. We ain't seen their ass again. And they ain't seen their one of them. I'm just saying.
In that space, I would say what the people who aren't elected officials don't realize is said elected officials fight all the time. They fight for programs. They fight to stop stuff.
That's what the Black Caucus told us, and they told us that about the safety net.
They have good days. They have bad days. I mean, that's what I said. I mean, like they win some battles, they lose some battles, but there's always a continuous fight. I mean, you go home and sometimes like, oh my God, that was awful, and it's not helping the people I'm trying to help. I mean, it can be very frustrating. It's not like there's not stress involved.
Okay, let's talk about, when we come back, we're going to finish up this conversation. We're going to do Showtime. Did y'all see it Showtime again at the state? I'm going to tell y'all know we drive the action. Remember I told y'all when we started talking about the money for the state, right, and how there was no weed money, all of a sudden we're going to start seeing all these press conferences. Well, just guess what? The state has invested $2 million to teach small businesses how to get state contracts. I got a better idea. How about you tell Mike Madigan to take the chief procurement officers out of the mix, and then allow the DCEO to then be able to spread that money out, right? It's like y'all. I hate the shell game. We're going to talk about it more when we come back. It's the Maze Jackson Show.
The Maze Jackson Show.
I want to point out that that's also the department. DCEO is this $2 million that they did. JB came in and fired all the black people who put the program together, and then put in Latinos. Then put in all Latinos to run it, and now they're back out trying to repackage it to us and giving it. What the fuck is $2 million to help somebody get state contracts? All that is not professional services. What they call that?
Yeah, remember, you're not talking about $2 million of one person, right?
Right. No, that $2 million, and they spreading it out over 2 organizations to help to get technical assistance for companies to get state contracts. And the reality is the reason that black people
technical assistance is the best accountant you can hire.
So I'm gonna tell you, technical assistance is good. Tamiko got technical assistance and got legal support at at CHA. So she got all the businesses 10 hours of legal support to look over their contracts and all that stuff. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
What they're doing with this is, remember when we was talking to Juan? Was you here when I was talking to Juan and I said, a lot of... Let me stop. Anyway, what happened is they're all failing. They have failed on this cannabis thing, right? Then they need to come back out and say what they're doing with money. Right? Then we already put the heat on, like, what are all these black people doing? So now they're going to release $2 million to have a press conference so black folks can stand up there and say, we're giving technical support to business to help them get state contracts. No, that's not how you help black businesses get state contracts, by giving them support. Motherfuckers know how to read. They know how to fill out an application. That's that same.
I think you are over.
Hold on. No.
Not over. What the heck am I trying to say, Ruthie? I think you're giving too much credit to people whose jobs isn't to do that kind of stuff.
Hold on. So, since I did IDOT in 1999, every agency has had technical support available, right? Whether it is CHA, whether it is DCO, whether it is all of them have technical support to help you. Now, if you look at the contract to become a certified vendor for CHA, not for CHA, for DCO, it's not a hard contract to fill it out. I'm not suggesting that they don't need it. $2 million is a gift to somebody's friends, right? That means that somebody is going to be a law firm, accounting firm, whoever. I'm not tripping on that. But again,
we might be talking about two different things, though.
What?
When I'm talking about support, I'm
to help them when they fill out the contract.
No,
like when they're going at the RFP?
But see, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, what you
I'm talking about, like, support in your business itself. That's why I said the accountant thing.
Oh, okay.
Somebody who actually goes through your books and shows you where you're screwing this crap up.
They
if you are or not.
They do that too.
Okay.
But I feel like announcing it like it's some new shit when every fucking agency already has it is like you're trying to cover your ass. Because why? Y'all gave away $60 million a month in this cannabis shit, and people still looking at y'all like, that's what you're right.
Art Turner told me to kind of shift a little bit. He said, you got to be careful when you're doing this job. You take it so seriously that the next thing you know, you're in the hospital. Art said his first term, he went to the doctor. His stomach was hurting so bad. Turned out he had an ulcer. He was like, I had to dial it back.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd, Stroger, as well as Miss Sonia, Escobar, Ruthie more over there. Ruthie, what them comments looking like? What you over there? You reading? You intense.
You know, I've just been reading. This is a great debate, Maze.
Ruthie over there getting mad. I'm going to tell you, I'm looking at the smoke coming off Ruthie's head because I know black folks, I know there's a generation gap in work. It just really is. There's a generation gap, and I'm going to just be honest with you, Ruthie, and then I'm going to let you talk. I think that for most of the people that you're probably reading, they came up in a world where they were told to go to work, get a job, there'll be a pension, and blah, 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 blah. And that mentality has not gone away. They may have adopted the gig mentality, they may have figured out, but and it wasn't about working to be happy, it was working to get to your American dream, right? So when you talk about people who worked at the post office, it wasn't like they was like, yes, this is going to fulfill my life. They was like, yes, this is going to help me fulfill my life outside of the workplace. I think now the millennial world is, if I'm not happy, no one will be happy.
But you know, those types of jobs don't necessarily exist anymore. So how can we have the same infrastructure if we don't have the same opportunities?
I'm with you on that. So talk to me.
So, all right. So we getting a lot of varying comments on social. So Rhonda said, we were part of the generation that are the direct beneficiaries of the civil rights movement, and our parents wanted us to have what they didn't have. We were trained to go to college and get a good job. Once our children came along, we made sure they had the best of everything, and now they are a generation of entitlement. So I think Rhonda might be kind of agreeing with you a little bit, Maze.
I think it is. I think my kids are entitled, right? I think like nowadays, I'd be like some of the stuff my kids get away with, I get beat down for, right? Like, really, like the concept of my son sleeping until 11 o'clock is like, let me tell you, on Saturday, my old man was like, did you think you thought you was going to sleep till at 10 o'clock? 7 o'clock, it's sticks to pick up in the yard. I'd be like, it's going to be sticks every day, all day. He's like, right, you're going to start him at 7 o'clock.
You always have a job.
Right. So, Ruthie, talk to me, man, because I feel like we're in a different space here, and it's like, you like intense right now. Talk to me.
Oh, no, I'm not intense at all. I just think that there's a generation gap with the thought process. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with getting up, going to work every day, and da-da-da-da-da. But there was a means to y'all end. Y'all knew that y'all could retire one day. Y'all knew that y'all could put y'all kids through college. We don't necessarily have that.
I can't say that. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur. Check this out.
You're a little bit different though, Maze. But I'm talking about the man or woman that goes to work for 8 hours a day, and they know that they have a retirement date. They know that they're gonna retire when they turn this age, and this how much they're gonna be getting. There are people actually still working and paying into pension systems. That type of thing does not exist anymore.
If you're a state worker, it does. Or if you're a union person,
but even when you get into those are new pension systems, they still ain't getting the same that the other people got.
I agree with that.
I don't think I realized anything until I actually read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
I think so too.
That kind of changed me. Like,
I think I think that we have I don't think that, regardless of the circumstances, I don't think the process changes. There is no substitute for hard work.
In today's society, I think that there kind of is though, because we see people getting rich by not working hard. The name of the game is to not work hard, is to work smarter. And I don't think there's anything wrong with working harder. I don't want to go into an office for 8 hours a day. I don't want to catch the corona.
I would suggest that. No, I'm with you, but I'm suggesting that even the things that look fun are work.
That's true.
And you have to perfect your craft no matter what. Like, so I think people think about like the YouTube stars and they don't do anything. No. They have meticulously done every freaking... I mean, I just think about what I have to do just to get the broadcast up in the morning.
Right.
Right? So you can't say it's not hard work, and it may not be the same kind of hard work.
It's smarter work.
It depends.
No, the preparation is real work, though.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that it's not smarter work because it is a different kind of work. A lawyer has or a accountant used his brain forever. It was work. Right? It's like
now they have computers though, Maze. Accountants ain't doing accounting work like they used to. They punching numbers into some software.
At a certain point though, here's my point. My point is that no matter what you do, if you want to make money at it, you're going to have to perfect it. There is no now you can if you want to be successful. Now if you want to subsist, you could get away with just letting the computer do everything, but even if the computer does the work, you have to put your mind to how do I take what this computer does to make money, to achieve? And somewhere in that, you got to connect all the dots, make the computer talk to whoever the customer is, that then builds the relationships, that then makes it all go together.
And you still have to stay on top of every change that ever happens.
Yeah, and so machines may change the type of work, but you're always going to have to think, how does that work interact with, like as an entrepreneur, you solving problems, right? You like, man, the problem right now is communications. How can we change communications? We can use these tools and make it happen. Now, every day, I show up in this mug and everybody be like, oh yeah, people, I can't sleep at night because all night I'm sitting up here trying to figure out what is the technical sound support. How do I finance the fact that I got to pay for X, Y, Z, ABC? So I just think that there is not ever going to be something that you are going to be successful in. That I love work smarter, but working smarter does not mean that you don't work hard.
I agree with you.
Okay.
I just think I think there are levels to what we deem to be work. And I think the mentality is I'll wake up, I'll go do my 8 hours, and now I'm a productive member of society. And if you don't do that, it's something wrong with you. You lazy.
Oh no, I don't think that.
That's what I took from the RNC speech, just to circle it back to there.
Oh, and I think that's
the mentality.
I don't want to work 8 hours anymore.
I think that's the.
But I want to pay for my house.
And I think maybe that's the interpretation, right? And you got to think about who the audiences are. I felt like when I heard that and I said whether it was 8 hours a day, I was like, you got to make your way in this world, right? Yeah. That's what I saw. That's what I saw. I just think that I feel like sometimes we take it personal when our deficiencies become glaring, right? So at the point in which you've been sold on the fact that you can't be successful, that this world is so far against you that you're not going to be able to do it, and everything that has been put in front of you, when someone who does comes up, whether they humbly just say, he wasn't like y'all Negroes, he said my mama. He referenced my mom, my work, the things in his path that got him there, right? Never looking back. He said, like everybody's mama, you want your mama to believe in you. He said that, right? I think that what has happened is, in a situation like that, it points out your glaring deficiencies, and then you start being like, he think he's special. It used to happen to me all the time, even in being smart. I wasn't trying to be smart. I was just like, 6 + 6 is 12. I don't care how many times you move it around.
Just trying to be the best mate you can be.
Exactly. And in that, it allowed me to succeed, and I felt like I could compete with white boys and black, and I could care less. Maze Jackson is Maze Jackson, black or white in the room. Right? And I'm going to tell you my story, black or white, Democrat or Republican in the room, and it included my mama, my daddy, my hard work, the fact that I worked 2 jobs, and quite frankly, a lot of that same stuff, that same confidence is why Negroes be like to this day, right now, that Negro think he's somebody smart. He think he better. Who you think he is? No, I don't have the downtrodden, like, woe is me story. And I'm saying, like, and I've had a lot of challenges in my life. I share them on this thing, trying to sort it out.
Right.
That's not uncommon, and I just think we got a lot of different stories. We want to be monolithic, and then we don't want to be monolithic. I say you let that brother climb, that path over there and assume, like when he said the things that he laid out, and I really want to go through that speech.
I didn't see it on my timeline. I might have a lot of Facebook friends who are really smart, but I didn't see a lot of hating on him.
No, I think that what I saw was the instantaneous haters who didn't even listen to the speech. Just go like, Cotton. Man, bro, that was a touching story. Like, he was like, man, my grandfather picked freaking cotton. He got snatched out of school in 3rd grade and said, you can no longer go to school, boy. You got to go pick cotton.
You know, to make this about me.
Always.
My dad said that his uncle took him out to pick some cotton. And then he brought him back to his mother. And he said, you better get this boy some education.
Right. So, again, hey, y'all, this is the Mace Jackson Show. When we come back, I want to talk very quickly about the shooting of Jason Blake in Kenosha. I think, and that maybe not even quickly, I just want to talk about it. We'll be back. Woo! Yeah, man, I think that there is this belief that in the overnight success, and I just don't believe that really happens. I think even for these little YouTube killer stars, they put their mind to the fact that they were going to, one, create these damn videos, learn the damn software, learn the tools, investigate, freaking earn the money to pay for the video, to then get it up, to get it into the universe. That's all work to me. Now, it's not physical manual labor, but I think once we start to recognize, and I think in our world, a lot of times for black folks, if they don't see physical labor, then they don't value it. It's like being a creative, right? All I got is my mind. All I got is what I can take from my mind and turn into something. Now, if you are a graphic designer, people be like, man, and I make a logo for you, people be like, man, I shouldn't be, man, dog, it didn't take you no time to do that. Right?
So now there's no value to it, right?
Right. Or you want $75 an hour to draw pictures? Well, bro, that picture tells us a million stories. I just think that
I can't draw to save my life.
Right. And
and then I have to think of the concept too.
I feel like I want us to stop being the first to call people sellouts. That's all. Like, I feel like it makes me think of being in that MLI class. And that class,
what?
Metropolitan Leadership Institute. When I took the Latino leadership class.
Oh, right.
And they was like, it was right during the heart of the Tea Party, right? And it was like Muggs was pro-immigration, against immigration, everything. And I never forget, Juan was like, it don't make a difference. Y'all have one unifying factor that nobody else has in the room. Y'all all speak Spanish. So when there's a deal to be made and everybody else is in the room, y'all can talk to each other, right?
They do.
Right. And then they go back and they still split it up. I spoke on a panel with Tim Scott, right? Or when Todd Ricketts and Jimmy Kemp brought that conference here, and it was like a pretty cool conference. But I met Tim Scott, talked to him, and he was like a solid ass. It's like talking to a brother, like, you know, you talk to a brother and you be like, look, man, I gotta do my job, but holla at me. Right? Like, no, you know, I'm over here fucking with these white people because I got to do my thing. It's like, how many brothers have to code switch every day? Like, you see them and they be like, you see them walking through City Hall and they looking straight ahead, and you be like, nigga, I know you have to work. Right? You be like, I know, but I'm here with my white people doing my job. Don't mess with me. Right? It's like, I always think of, and I think maybe these guys.
That reminds me of when my dad would say that in Helena, which was, you know, big stuff. You know, they had like 2 blocks of businesses. You know, sometimes people would pass and they disappear, and part of your life was to not say anything to them at the stores to give them away. Passe blanche.
The fuck?
Pass is white.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they had a real job and a career, and your job was to not go up there and
be like, hey, what up?
Yeah.
Right, it's like, to me, Tim Scott, is essentially the spook that's sat beside the door, and it's like we can never fucking get that concept. It's like everybody quote the spook that sat beside the door, and then as soon as the spook sit beside the door, they be like, Uncle Tom, that nigga. Real talk. It's like I swear to God, I be in meetings and I be at stuff, and then I tell y'all damn near everything. Right? I tell the world damn near everything. And the same niggas will call me a sellout every time. Nigga, you was at the meeting.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. Strange.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd, Stroger. Todd, Ruthie, I don't know if you heard this, but my niece, Maya Neal, all the way from Texas, Houston, Texas, back in June, wrote this piece. I want to play this piece, and I want you to hear it, because I think it's so apropos to what we saw in Kenosha, Wisconsin. In case you don't know what I'm talking about in Kenosha, Wisconsin, Jacob Blake, was shot in the back 7 times by a police officer after trying to break up an altercation. I thought it was too. Herb said yesterday on I Said What I Said, he wasn't talking about it no more because we said after George Floyd it wasn't happening again. I was like, yeah, right. Y'all know they're going to keep killing black folks. But this was from a young, I think Maya's 11 years old, Houston, Texas. I just thought it was so important that we play it again. Hey, Sonia, play Maya's piece for me, would you?
African Americans have been mistreated for years. When will it ever stop? We protest, we march, that never changes anything. We need to do something different. Make them think that we're good people and the color of our skin doesn't matter. After all, we all are human. And I'm tired of this. It's like no matter what we do, we'll always be treated horrible and like we don't matter. For example, George Washington Carver discovered and found many new uses for the peanut. Louis Latimer invented the lamp. Sarah E. Good invented the folding cabinet bed. And even though there are so many ways as African Americans have shown that we're not all bad, even though yes, I do think some of us are bad, but all shouldn't be treated like that. Take George Floyd, for example, who was killed by a white police officer, putting his knee on his neck, hearing him say, "I can't breathe." And he wasn't even resisting. To me, he did it on purpose. Police are supposed to be there to protect us, not kill us. Did you know that between 2013 and 2019, police in the United States killed 7,666 people, or that black Americans are 2.5 times as likely as white Americans to be shot and killed by police officers. Just where I live in Texas, between 2013 and 2019, 157 black people were killed. I mean, as African Americans never know if we're just going to be arrested or even shot when we're outside by a police officer. Unsurprisingly, the 3 largest states, including the one I live in, Texas, California, and Florida, has the highest total number of killings of black people by police officers. So stop killing us. We did nothing wrong. I'm Maya and my life matters.
Hey y'all, that was my niece, Maya. She wrote that back in June 6th in response to the George Floyd shooting. And I just thought it was so appropriate. Because I remember when we played it back then and everybody was like, oh, and we got it. And here we are again. Shot 7 times in the back on TV. What are our kids thinking? Like, what is the reality for a young person?
Well, I think Maya pointed it out. I remember driving in the car once, and my wife's cousin was probably like 9 at the time. Something came on, and this kid had been killed. I mean, like kid. I mean, somebody was like less than 15, and she just said out of the blue, children aren't supposed to die. Yeah, they pay attention, they see the world. They pay attention, they see the world, and they know there's something wrong with this.
I don't know how it's like I want to watch, I want to talk about it, and I don't. I want to be outraged, but I don't. I don't know what possesses someone to shoot a black man 7 times in the back. No weapon.
I passed a Facebook post on once, and it had the Hulk, the green big monster, and under the caption was, "This is how white people see black men."
It's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back. Jay said he want to say a sellout. First of all, you have white America and black America. As a black man speaking about black people, I feel it. Another black person speaking on black people is a sellout when they don't acknowledge the institutional racism that we have to deal with, whatever your educational level. I think we all have to deal with it. It's like that to me is like in geometry a given, right? Like you are a black person, you gonna feel institutional racism,
right.
Period, point blank. Your shit was built that way. From the first school you went to the last school you went to, right? From the time you walk in the office to the time. Now, we got one or two options. We can create an environment for ourselves, right? Mine is like this. And I'm not saying everybody has the ability to start or build or whatever, but then it's like everybody didn't. But what did I do? I called you. I called somebody. I said, y'all, come on, let's do something better for our people. You have to get in where you fit in. Everybody wants to be a leader of a movement. Everybody's not going to be a leader of a movement, just like everybody's not going to be an entrepreneur. However, you can build. And I think you got to figure out where you fit in the building space. I also think that us sitting around, like, institutional racism is not going to build our neighborhoods. It's going to be black people who build businesses in our neighborhoods that are going to build our neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. And I think denying that, like, no, everybody's not going to be an entrepreneur. But if everybody's not going to be an entrepreneur, you got to support the entrepreneurs. You don't say, fuck you a sellout because you said you think you better than me now because you starting a business. Mm-hmm. No, it's like I start businesses with the intent of trying to bring more black people in. Like, even when we're doing this whole thing, like, I want all the shows to own their shit, right? Like, I want you to leave here, like, not leave here, I want you to be here forever, but I want you to make your own stack, right? Like, I want to make more entrepreneurs, even if you don't see entrepreneurialism in yourself. And then let me show you how you can take what you've built and monetize that and start to build yourself some independence. Right? Mm-hmm. That's the stars. That's why I encourage y'all to support the shows that we do with the stars and the advertising, etc. Because essentially, we have to build something, right? When the white people came and said, when the black lady said that y'all can't talk about this lady no more, even though y'all getting y'all asses beat down in the street, right? Somebody has to say at that moment, this is not acceptable. And we're going to solve that problem. I don't think that's everybody. Your time comes when it is. Now, I worked at that station to learn, and I was put there to learn how to do the basic stuff, and we're struggling our way through the process of trying to put it together. If we don't build any of our own institutions, right? If we don't figure out a way to not rely on somebody else to tell us, like, as a businessman, right? The final decisions lie with us. I think that we haven't seen black people in power. The only time we see black people in power is politically or in church. Mm-hmm. So if
celebrities.
If you don't see business at work, you see that, what he said, in my estimation, as selling out. And it's like, no, a motherfucking businessman is every day. First of all, most businessmen ain't even got time to be political. Right? And quite frankly, ain't no niggas helping you in business. They're not. Right? Because the Negroes in business are like this. Either you trying to take my shit, or they're more in the space of like, nigga, you ain't your time yet. It's not. So now, with the exception of the old man, you can't really point to no black business people that in Chicago that have invested in black businesses. You can't. Like, and them niggas is the epitome of Democrats, right? And you a black man, you can't get no damn help. These white motherfuckers get rich every week. We in a Democratic town with all these Democrats, and it's like, who the fuck is a sellout? Like, y'all let these mugs come up here and parade around in our poverty, and Tim Scott he ain't sitting around waiting. And I bet you go to his family barbecue, and I bet you everybody be like, Tim Scott paying. Right? I don't even want. It's not even Republican. It is just the simplicity with which they can get us to throw each other overboard. Like, for it, like, all these mugs is talking. Somebody asked me, the New Yorker asked me, what was it like being at a Trump fundraiser? And I was like, it's the same thing as being at a Hillary Clinton fundraiser. Them rich motherfuckers want to know how they gonna get richer. Same goddamn questions on the other side of the line, right? And it ain't nobody, like, the rich people don't care about the personality. They trying to make money, right? And it's like just the willingness that we have to divide ourselves over white people shit. Like, y'all really got me arguing over, y'all gonna argue over which white boy is racist? Which is white boy is more racist? Like, so these niggas can go to the DNC, stand up in front of us and did absolutely nothing. Right? Black Caucus can stand up there and tell us about the damn immigrants down in whatever. They can cry, they can do no economics for black folks at all. And we call the one person that talk about trying to move forward economically the sellout. It's like, it's like the same thing of white boys coming to King Drive and calling Ken Duncan a sellout, and niggas wrote, like, y'all let a white boy come over here and call a nigga a sellout? Excuse my language. It's just too easy for white people, right? It's just too easy. And it's like, that is Joe Biden saying, essentially, if you ain't voting for me, you're a sellout, black man. Woohoo! My eyes open. Ain't no hocus pocus. Said and done, they will all know us. Shine, shine, you're beautiful inside. Hey, rise up, yeah. Don't you know you can? You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd, Stroger. I got Ruthie more over on the social media, as well as Miss Sonia Escobar behind the wheels of steel. Yeah. Well, y'all, we got all type of stuff going on around here.
Absolutely.
It is crack-a-lacking. You know what? How about this? I don't even know where I'm at right now. I got at 8 o'clock. We're going to talk about Redefining of America. I think this is going to continue this conversation. Because I think that I think what I saw yesterday in the RNC is they are trying to I think they are trying. The Democrats said they're trying to claim the soul of America, right? I think the Republicans have taken a spin on that, and they are doing the same thing. They're just implying that we are moving towards a socialist nation, and that America will become socialist if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris win.
That's those 1%ers. They're afraid now.
I don't know, and so I guess when
1%ers never realize that eventually there's a revolution because people are fed up with them keep on telling them that you give me more money, you'll be better off.
Where you gonna be in a revolution? You out there, Todd? You getting your pitchfork? You rolling?
I'm too old for
Hans gonna be out there. Hans gonna be bringing. Hans gonna have the work. Look,
you know, after the first half mile, my hip will start hurting. I'll be sitting on the curb.
Hans is downstairs plotting a revolution in the basement right now. Todd don't even know when he's gonna sleep. You know,
I'm going to be disappointed if you don't come down the stairs because he's in the attic. If you don't come down the stairs and say, "Dad, I'm officially the king of the universe," at some point.
Let me tell you, Todd. Look, you know what, Ruthie? Todd, can I tell you a secret? Todd be saying. He always wakes up in the middle of the night and he finds that Hans is baking cookies. I was like, Todd, did you go outside on the back porch? Does it smell a little funny out there? Right? I'd be like, what are these brown droppings all over
Hans better stop hanging out with his cousins.
Hans bakes pizza.
Hey man, he makes edible pizza.
They call it a lot of different things, Todd.
Right, Todd.
Hans wants to actually start a pizzeria.
Does he?
Yeah, but he doesn't want a deep dish. He wants it more New York style because he says the competition would be easier. So a thin crust.
So here's what I'm gonna say, Hans. If you don't pay me my money, I'm coming to your pizza train.
Take his pepperonis.
I'm taking your pepperonis and I'm taking all the mozzarella. All the mozzarella. So put some more mozzarella on this month. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna go to Jay because I think Jay wanna curse me out a little bit. Jay, I'm gonna let you go ahead and get your call in. Oh dang, Jay, you hung up. Jay said he wanted to just say that a sellout, first of all, you have white America and black America. And as a black man speaking about black people, I feel it. Another black person speaking on black people is a sellout when they don't acknowledge the institutional racism that we have to deal with, whatever your educational level. I would suggest that that's a pretty good definition, but I would also say that racism for black people is a given. Would you agree? Like, I mean, what black person has not experienced racism?
Oh.
It's a given in what context? Should I just assume that when he gave his speech that he just neglected institutional racism or that it didn't exist? Because from his speech it seemed like he acted like it didn't exist.
I guess my question is, first of all, who is acknowledged? I think the Democrats acknowledge institutional racism out of convenience. I don't know. Do you have to acknowledge? Do you have to be like? So how do you do that? Do you say?
I think the Democrats have acknowledged it recently because I think I heard Nancy Pelosi mention it. It's not convenience. It's because it's
their base.
It's right in their face,
and it's their base.
And it's their base, right?
Right. Their base is
to mention it.
Right. So their base is the Democrats' base is evolving. Right. It is morphing on them. Right. The Democrats' base is socialists, is the Democratic Socialists infusing into their party, and they're trying to sort it out. And so they got a whole bunch of mixed messages going on because they don't want to offend the Bernie bros. They got the Ruthie Moores of the world who like, I'm still not sure that Joe Biden is better, right? You got people like me who are like, I don't know this time, Ricky. And then they got the Ice Cube Diddy moment. Okay, you got all of that going on.
You know what I like for those guys to do? You know, because I love to spend other people's money. I don't mind them talking, saying this, but they have a different position in life. They are definitely the 1%ers. I like.
You're a 1%er.
I'm not a 1%er.
Yes, you are. You make over $150,000. You're a 1%er. Your pension puts you there.
No, my pension isn't that much.
Dang.
I might be a 2%.
Dang.
But
dang, yo, Todd,
hold on. I'm going to forget what I was going to say about those guys.
You just stay hanging out with your cousin.
I like for them to start a national bank. If they want to help black folks, a national bank would really be the way to do it.
You can't do it, though. You can't talk about it because you would be a sellout if you mention that. Right? Like,
Okay.
I mean, I'm saying, because here's what I would say.
Okay.
I would call Tim Scott up
Ask
and...
Ruthie. She's the judge of all this
Yes.
of sellout.
I am the gatekeeper of the sellouts.
Yes. It's time to sell out.
Damn.
No.
Am I a sellout, Ruthie? Borderline.
No, you are not a sellout, Maze. I think that you have an idea of America, and that's what you want, and you've been able to achieve certain aspects of it, and so I think that you are kind of like striving for a certain vision that you see that is attainable. I don't see the American dream really as being attainable, but you've like had pieces of it. You done tasted it. And so I think
I want it all.
You think
I want a big old American pie and hamburger. And I'm gonna tell you what. So let me ask you a question. Are we American?
We built this country.
No, we built this country. Dun dun. We built this country on rock and roll. Okay, so then I guess my question is, am I wrong to want my birthright?
You are not wrong for wanting it, but context matters. I don't think there's anything wrong with what the man said. His story is a great story, but you ain't finna get up in front of the white folks and act like this is how all black people should be. It's kind of like, so I'm for the
like
story,
it's that simple.
but it's like, come on, bro. Like you don't.
I don't think it. I think
that's the argument that white capitalists kind of use is. Y'all just lazy, try work harder, do it. And so I don't like that type of placating to that ideology. That's the problem with his speech. It's not what he said. I think the man got a great story. But don't be placating to them white people at the RNC like that.
So I guess my question would be like, I would feel like, so if he said I overcame institutional and structural racism, and I think he did say that. Did you watch the whole speech? Sonia, do you got my notes? Cause I'm gonna have to go ahead and get that speech. Let me get that speech. Cause I really do feel like he was like, let me hear all the black stuff that I know y'all about to say. Cause he even acknowledged, go to the front. Didn't he acknowledge Breonna Taylor and George Floyd too? Right? Like
I think he did.
No, he did.
He had to.
Y'all.
We living in a different time.
So how did Barack acknowledge Trayvon?
If I had a son, he looked like Trayvon Martin.
Right. What? Yeah, that was good enough. I'm saying the same day that they was at Charleston, right? When the Charleston 9 was dead, remember Michelle was like, I forgot about that because I was so elated that we passed gay marriage and we had to get outside in the streets. Woo! Lord have mercy, Jesus. I just feel like y'all talk about the spook that's sat beside the door. Play what he got. What you got, Sonia? Stop. Now.
That was almost right. The difference was going to someplace like Excelsior, or whatever that school is that Jesse Jackson went to, and Al Gore and them. That's like magic.
Okay, so we don't agree that education is a path out.
No,
y'all got me confused.
No. I'm saying that what he said.
He said go to Excelsior?
No.
He found it. Go ahead.
No. What he said that education is like magic, and I'm saying no. Magic is when you go to a school that only elitists can go to, and you know that from there you will always be okay.
Okay, play some more.
When a parent has a choice, their kid has a better chance. And the president has fought alongside me on that. Later in life, I started my own small business. That's why I know it is critical for us to have a tax code that encourages growth. We actually saw revenues to the Treasury increase after we lowered taxes in 2017. Rest assured, the Democrats do not want you to know that. After starting my small business and spending some time in local government, I decided to run for Congress in 2010. The district is based in Charleston, South Carolina, where the Civil War started, against a son of our legendary Senator, Strom Thurmond. You may be asking yourself, how does a poor black kid from a single parent household run and win in a race crowded with Republicans against a Thurman?
That's how you do it.
Because of the evolution of the Southern heart. In an overwhelmingly white district, the voters judged me not on the color of my skin, but on the content of my character.
Stop.
He said it right, Mace. The way you win that race is you need a whole bunch of people running, so the white people split all the vote up, and you can run through the middle.
I'm not debating it. That's what Lori Lightfoot did.
Exactly.
Right? So, did he won with black votes in that race, or he won with white votes in that race? White Republicans voted for him. Did black people cross over?
I only know as much as he told me. So
okay.
I don't know.
So I would suggest that black folks didn't cross over. I'm not going to suggest that. I'm just going to suggest that listening to his story.
I know black people can win. What's his name? The football player from Oklahoma?
J.C. Watts.
Yes.
And now he has a TV station, a TV network that he built out, a black television network that he built out, right? Because he recognized that having relationships with the Republicans, he knew the people with the FCC, and then what he said was there is no black outlet for talk for black people, and so he built out the opposite of black entertainment television and did Black Talk Network. Right. It was a conservative talk network. I guess my question in all of this space is how do we use all the black people in all the places? Like, how do we get from a point of, like, I don't see any difference between Tim Scott and any black person that stands up at the DNC knowing the state of black America. And being like, we got to cheer this. Because, again, the most pain that I've been caused personally, professionally, in my life, business-wise, etc., has all been at the hands of Democrats. It really has. And I think when we look at where we as black people
sit... You live in a state that's all Democrats.
My point. That is exactly my freaking point. It's like, what are you selling me? Right? Like, what... If he's a sellout, and we define a sellout as a person who is in power, has the place, gets in front of white folks and don't say nothing, it seems like every single legislator we got right now would fit into that category.
I don't think he's a sellout, but I think you
see how they changed that? See,
no, I never said he was a sellout. Did I ever say he was a sellout?
No, I'm just saying, but you see, because that ball just, see, that we use that definition, that ball just hit a lot of people.
No, there's a lot of things a lot of things I won't say that other people will. Right. I don't call people sellouts.
Okay.
I will say that there are people who are in our best interests. I don't care what
any of those in Illinois?
Oh, plenty of
any of them black?
I say all the time that what's my thing about the mayor's office? If it's not somebody from your own base, then don't expect them to do anything spectacular for you. They're going to do the basics. They're going to get your streets. They're going to get your garbage. That's all you should expect out of them.
Are there any black sellouts, or are there any black people that would fit the definition in Illinois?
They may not be on our team, if that's what you're saying.
No, I'm suggesting, like, so who would be the black elected officials that would not fit in the category?
Before we go there, I learned also a long time ago that all Democrats aren't on your side.
I'm just talking about the black ones. I don't care about all. I want to talk about the black ones. Which black Democrats in Illinois said, okay, I'm Tim Scott, let me give you this. Let me give you this. I'm going to give you Tim Scott was the black guy at the Republican convention. Now, Herschel Walker, that's a whole different story. That's a whole different story. Right? I feel like Tim Scott was like, this ain't about just Donald Trump, y'all. He was like, look, man, we got a whole other thing going on. It's like we work with him when we got to work with him, but I'm doing my thing, right? He hit his opportunity zones. I think the opportunity zones, just we don't have the property that allows us to do what we need to do. But he tried. I think
it's like giving you soup, but giving you a fork.
Right. Okay. And it's so my question then becomes, I spent a lot of time on Tim Scott because we could break him apart. Can I tell y'all? I have absolutely no expectations from the Republicans. None. I have no expectation that they are going to address my issues. I have no expectation that they are going to come up with the black agenda at all. You know who I do have an expectation of, though? Who? The Democratic Party. Right? I don't expect Tim Scott to get up and do anything but repeat the stuff and make us say. But who is talking to us now about our piece and our part? So I'm all good with us saying ignore Tim Scott. I'm not necessarily all good with that. I say he should be part of the Black Caucus and they should be using him to go in the door and do their thing and be like when I saw the Latinos. The Latinos be like, y'all got a party meeting and we got a Latino meeting. Now you can go to your party meeting all day, but at the end of that, you gonna tell us what happened at the party meeting, and we gonna figure out how it works best for Latinos. Then you gonna go back to wherever you came from, Democrat, Republican, or whatever, and we all on the same page, right? And you don't see it. So here's what I'm suggesting. Tell me, what are our Democrats bringing back to us? Anybody? And I'm saying that if we can throw somebody who we have absolutely no, let's agree that Tim Scott he's not in the highly favored category. Can we put it there? And I'll say just because of it based on the speech. Ruthie Moore, who on the flip side what's the opposite of a sellout? Who is pro-black Democrat?
Who's super black?
That is
not super black.
That's the question.
Not super black. Pro black. Just not the generic. Oh, I saw George Floyd and he died, and we all should be not the Democrat approved statements. Mm-hmm. Who black politically has black people's back? I'm gonna do this. I know we're off a little bit. Let's take a break. But I want both Ruthie and Todd and callers. 872-259-7474. 872-259-7474. Who are the pro-black Democrats? City? County? State? Who are the people that have black people's backs? Now, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to let Todd and Ruthie think about it. And then when they come back, I'm going to get my pen and paper for their long list. Hey, y'all. And Ruthie, to see what you got on social as well. So we'll read those comments. Hey, y'all. And then don't forget today, hey, y'all, starting September 8th, Chicago famous Mike Love and the Diz right here. We'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Woo!
All right, I'm ready, Todd. Go ahead, give me your list.
Hold on. Look, I'm going to leave y'all. I'm going to let them work on their list.
Go ahead, start. Go ahead, Todd.
Go ahead, y'all. Let's see them. Y'all work it out. I'll be back.
Oh no, I think there are.
Okay, so we got to contextualize. All right, so we got a couple comments on social. This is a tough one.
I don't think it's tough. There's
I think it's
a ton of pro-black people.
That's what I'm saying. But how do we contextualize?
But how do they? I think the hard part for the group is how are they able to make policy when they're the minority? That's the hardest thing. A lot of people are like, woo wah, but 80% of the room doesn't look like you, and they're not interested.
When we think of the term sellout, we mostly think of it in a political, business, economic, and a social, cultural sense. Do you know any other context where people are sellouts? Or like, oh, you a sellout, or that you've heard people
No, that's
say
pretty
that?
much
Those three areas, right?
I mean, to be a sellout, you got to have some kind of stature where things go through you, or you can at least be the the herald for some guy who we don't think is doing anything for us. You're the hype man for us.
All right.
It's my weakness.
We got a long list too.
Beautiful. Your sweetness, it's my weakness. Your sweetness, my weak. Boom, boom, ba-doom, boom, boom, boom.
Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd, Stroger, and Miss Ruthie Moore. And I left them, y'all. When last we spoke, Todd and Ruthie were going. We have officially declared Tim Scott a sellout. Did we do that yet?
You did.
No, we didn't.
It was just you.
No, I didn't.
You the one hyped
that was you, Maze.
Yep.
Oh, no, see how y'all did see? Okay, so wait a minute. Okay, so what I asked, and I'm gonna give you a list. I wanted you all to make me a list, city, county, state, of Democrats who, let's say that the definition of sellout is those people who are in power and do not use their power to benefit their people. Give me examples of Democratic people who are not sellouts that are Democrats. Give me a list. Come on. I'm ready, y'all.
All right. So Todd and I came up with the proverbial list.
Okay, I'm ready.
We've decided. Okay, we ain't got nobody, Maze. I'm just gonna say I'll tell you what social said.
Tell me what the social said.
All right. So Lanier said Hakeem Jeffries.
No, Hakeem Jeffries. No, let me say this.
Who is that?
Hakeem Jeffries was on the show with us. I think I got to go back and go pull his list. But he was the one who worked on the First Step Act, right?
Who is Hakeem Jeffries?
Hakeem Jeffries is the black guy in leadership. Like when Nancy Pelosi got the pressure put on her, Hakeem Jeffries replaced in
Minnesota.
Right. No, not in Minnesota. Hakeem Jeffries is from New York. Hakeem Jeffries, remember he was the one
Rangel? He replaced Rangel?
Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, whoever he replaced, I do think he replaced Charlie Rangel. But regardless, Hakeem Jeffries is the young hip hop guy that I told to make New York like hip hop. Anyway, Robin Kelly brought him on the show a while back. Hakeem Jeffries was the champion of the First Step Act. But that First Step Act, Todd, turn around. That First Step Act was what Donald Trump bills as the bill he signed to reverse Joe Biden's criminal, the crime bill.
All right, I got some local names for you, Maze.
Come on.
Beulah said Alderman David Moore, Alderman Sophia King, and Alderman Burnett.
See, she always had to throw the Alderman Burnett in there, right? I would say that I will give you... Okay, I'll give you some of those.
Yay!
No, wait a minute, go back. Give me the names again.
All right.
David Moore.
David Moore. So I know David Moore will speak up. I got to see him flex that power. Go ahead.
Sophia King.
I've heard her speak up. I got to see her flex that power. Flex. Like, use it. Not talk about it. Use it. Alderman Burnett, I have seen him use it. I think if you go and you see all those black companies from security to fencing to, I've seen them do it. However, okay, I've seen him. Who else?
All right, that's all. That's really all we got locally.
Okay. Shout out to Alderman Burnett. right? Let's go to the live line. I want to wait. JD, you didn't call back. Dang! And I was just about to take your call too, Anthony. All right, so y'all call me back. Can I just point out something real quick? That's really huge.
Of course.
Did y'all know that starting on September 8th, we're gonna have 12 hours of daily live programming, starting with us right here, the morning show, Maze, Todd, Ruthie, Sonia. Then we're going to have coming up after that the Book of Dawn. Dawn Millhouse will be coming, sharing her. If y'all do not know Dawn Millhouse, y'all better get on and start following her memes because she gonna hurt a lot of women's feelings. Woo! Talk like, look like a woman, talk like a man. She gonna give it to you. Then I was sitting here yesterday watching her, Sonia, and her team prep. Then don't forget today, you all, at 1 o'clock. Probably the second thing I'm most excited about right now. Did I tell y'all that Herb and 2 come on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 1 to 3, and they're looking forward to coming in second place? I said what I said, man. I'm so proud of that show. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I think they might even go to third place now that I think about this. We got the Bigs today, y'all. They came on last Friday, but the Bigs is the first black sports talk show with call-ins today from 1 to 3. These brothers are plug thugs. When I tell you they are in the building, they have credentials. I want y'all to go check out the Bigs on Facebook. Check them out on YouTube. They got everybody from Kevin Durant to when I tell y'all we finna blow it up on the sports space.
That sports analysis is
yes,
great.
Man, I got a feeling they're gonna be one of our most popular entities. Then coming up, bringing up and closing out, putting you from. We're gonna take you out your garage in the morning or your parking spot, and we're gonna put you back, because then we're gonna close this thing with Mike Love and Diz, not the Diz, Mike Love and Diz. Sonia, could you play that commercial for me real quick? The one, that one that I like, the Bad Boys one, the one where it's like, hold it, wait a minute, play that for us, because I want to make sure everybody gets to hear that one more time. Go ahead.
Mike Love and the Diz! Yeah, Mike Love and the Diz. Go! Mike Love, I got a question. Hey, are you ready to go down? Here we go again.
It's all about the bad boys, baby.
Hey, what's up? This is Mike Love.
Hey, what's up? It's Diz.
Of Bad Boy Wait a minute.
This ain't 1999, man.
Yeah, man, it's Chicago famous.
Say what? Old guys now.
Oh, I'm hurt. My back. We are back starting September 8th.
Get ready, Chicago. That's right. We are coming back on the air.
3 to 6 p.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Chicago famous.
Hey, y'all. Do y'all understand how big this joint is? Do y'all understand that with that? See, Ruthie, this is the entrepreneurial spirit. See, Todd ain't got that. See, I wanna help you, Ruthie. I want you to take the power that we are creating right here, and I want you to go out and be a superhero. And I want you to go outside, and I want you to change these black folks and get them to work. No, y'all, I'm gonna tell you what.
I'm trying to get rich quick, Maze. What you talking about?
Well, see, that's the thing. It ain't no get. I think that's our challenge in the get rich quick thing. It's the slow and steady. You know one of the things I think about?
Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady wins the race. That's Ariel Capital. Why don't you call him up? Tell him we need him to come on over here too. But you know what? I was thinking. We watch TV and we think we're supposed to be millionaires at 20, right? I think that the real millionaires that I know, slow and steady. They every time they got a process. They be like, how are we gonna make money? Not it's cool, not it's. And I think
I'm with you. I mean, the people I know, they build it over time, and the other ones, their parents left them a company.
Right. And so I think we gotta. I just want y'all to know that we are making history right here. Like, I don't know if some days when we wake up that we recognize the history that we are creating. I don't. Let me tell you. So there's a few things I want to acknowledge right now, because I don't know if I got to them yesterday. First of all, the dream, right? Like the concept of being bigger. I think we have to show our young people bigger black people doing other things. I also think we got to show them from the grassroots, right? That's why I'm going to start having my son come sleep. So he could be like, yo, you know, we because I'm
That's
telling
what my dad would do. He'd hire Ralph and I and give us like $5, and we'd sweep and mop the 8th Ward office.
Well, but also helping him understand that this is his legacy, that we are building something so that you can train entrepreneurs. Because I'm just going to tell you, we got to have some. We got to have people that are going to solve our problems and then turn that e-commerce back to us. So I want to, first of all, I can't do this without acknowledging my beautiful and lovely wife, who is losing time and energy, and the fact that every day I come home and I sit in that chair now at 6:30. If I ain't done eating, I'm done. Right? We ain't been dating, right? We ain't been, because it's like it's 24 hours building this.
Right.
So I gotta acknowledge my beautiful, lovely wife. I gotta acknowledge my sister, right? Like my sister is my partner in crime, and not in crime, in business, and I am a visionary that has all these crazy ideas.
It's just the same.
And then she says, "You said you told him you could do what? Where you gonna do that at? How you gonna do that?" But however it works, she always figures out a way to you know, when you got that degree in what's it called, human development and making organization stuff.
Wow.
Organizational development.
Yeah, that's it. HDF, some whatever the hell it is. She do that.
No.
And putting us together. Then I'll tell you, my first person that I reached out to was I Said What I Said. After I reached out to, first of all, let me start with Ruthie Moore. Right? Well, no, back up. Sonia Escobar. Sonia was on the road. She was like, I gotta go on vacation. I was like, what you gonna do? I don't know. Then I called and said, this is what I'm gonna do. She said, that's what we doing? And here we are, right? And so it started out with me and Sonia here. Then I was on the phone with my man Vince Bass, and we was like, is Todd gonna come? If Todd don't come, we need somebody. Like, we need a girl. We need a woman. Somebody like Ruthie. We both said it at the same time. We was like, let's call Ruthie. And Ruthie was like, yeah, I'm down.
Ruthie, now I know where you're from. You sent me my W-9. Thank you.
Then, I'm going to be honest with you. Todd was on the other team over there. I felt like he was like, finally, I got the chair. But I called up my man Todd, and Todd was like,
I was hanging up on me. I had enough for you.
I called my man Todd, and Todd was like, man, I'm with it, right? I'm with it. I still got to get that tuition, but we going to work on that. We working on that. And then we built the nucleus of this, and I think y'all think about, and shout out to Cartem Quinn. Guys, our story is going to be documented on National Geographic in October.
Oh, those are the documentaries.
Yes. So then I'm going to tell you I called my man Tucson Warner up. You know, Tucson, he's not a real sociable dude, right? He kind of gruff. And I was like, hey man, you know, I think too used to like, I don't really like that dude, but right. And I called him up and I was going back. I was going through my pitch, like, man, we really think today. He was like, I'm with it. I'm like, but then we gotta do the. And then he was like, nah, bro, I'm with it. And I was like, but then you gotta understand. I'm telling you, you'll be locked. I'm with it. We reached out to the Bigs. Biggs was like, gave me a look. You know, they was like, man, we can fly. I was like, I'm looking at your numbers though. Like, we need to give you a bigger platform. Mm-hmm. We got the Bigs. Go talk to Don. Don, you know how you feel somebody, you feel their vibe, their energy. I known Don forever. We was in another life. We was in the club life and the whole thing. But you see people evolve, and I was like, man, we need a woman that can smooth out this extra masculine thing we got going on, right? Because, well, after Ruthie get through whooping on Todd, we might have needed yeah. Anyway, so we got the Book of Dawn for the ladies, and I'm going to tell y'all it's going to be some controversial topics, but it is built for the ladies. And then, I ain't going to even lie. So, Chicago Famous was a podcast, and Mike Love and Diz, y'all heard yesterday, they hadn't talked in 13 years.
Jeez, that's a long time.
And when they decided to come back together, they reached out to my sister, Neil, who many people don't realize has been the brain behind my social presence, right? We done been doing this social thing since way back when we had a Thursday night show. And I used to be like, Neil, I I got it. Let me dump a bucket of water on my head. And we'll get 1,000 likes. And she was like, no gimmicks. No gimmicks. Slow and steady. I was like, come on, let's put $50 and let's boost this post so everybody can think we large. She was like, nope. Just keep growing. Just keep growing. And then, I'm going to tell y'all, I looked up the other day with just 2 shows on there. And we are already reaching 85,000 people a week. Quantifiably. Right? That's with 2 shows. Yeah, we're about to add a full 12-hour lineup. Like, understand that, like, the mic gonna be, Ruthie, you gonna have to get your extra spray paint. You writing the COVID policy. You are, cause no.
They just don't know. That's May said that because I'm generally in here early.
Oh, so no, Ruthie. Let me tell you what. I really want to video you doing it one day, so Carrie could be like, "Thank you, Ruthie."
Carrie, I be in here wiping this stuff down.
It be smelling like blizzy. I be like, "What kind of wipe she got?" She got the generic bleach too. You know, have you ever smelled generic bleach versus Clorox? Generic, you take the cap. You crazy? Generic bleach, you take the cap off the whole crib. You be. It's like somebody released ammonia. But here's.
But can I go to you for my HR problems?
I got you.
I got some complaints.
Here goes your HR problem right here. Here goes HR. HR is right here. No. So I'm stopping to say that sometimes a roadblock can turn into an opportunity. And when I talk about entrepreneurialism, right, and I talk about our young people seeing it, I don't think you all realize that each one of you are an entrepreneur and you are at the ground floor of an entrepreneurial venture, right? And I think it's going to pay off because I have no doubt that with just, first of all, I'm going to say reaching 240, let's see, what's 8 times 4 is 320,000 people. So I'm going to say a quantifiable 320,000 people a month right now with just us. And we gonna multiply that times 4. Do y'all understand? And even though we gonna remain the number 1 show, I'm sure Tucson and Herb are gonna be fighting to get that second with Mike Love and the Diz. So we got Chicago Famous fighting with and Book of Dawn, she gonna be fighting, and we're gonna have a healthy competition, but we're also gonna provide Black Chicago with a new way to see radio. And I just want to thank you all for being part of this journey. And so, like for you and Sonia and all y'all know I'm being sentimental, but the reality of 12 hours of programming from somebody telling us what we couldn't talk about to now having 12 hours a day and top shelf, top tier talent, right? Top shelf, top tier talent. Yeah, I think that we are going to change the way business is done in Chicago. And so my goal is that at the end, when we look back at this at a year, because what you're talking about with 320,000 people a month is power. And so what our responsibility to our listening audience is not to become those sellouts. We're going to build our power. We're going to use our power. We're going to advance Black people. Hey y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. When we come back, I'm going to let Ruthie and Todd talk because I know I've been Mike Hogan for a little bit. We'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break.
What's up? This is Mike Love.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Diz.
Sounds like Bad Boy Radio.
Yeah, but it's not Bad Boy Radio because we are now Chicago famous, but we are back on the air.
3 to 6, Monday through Friday, starting September 8th.
All right, you tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody it's going down. Not only will you hear us on air, but you'll be able to see us as well, and that's all going down September 8th from 3 to 6.
What's in it for the Black People Media? Make sure you check us out.
Chicago.
You got Herb and 2? You got something for Herb and 2? Do you have something for Herb and 2? Oh.
It's almost 9 o'clock.
Yes. You ain't what you thought it was.
Just lost track of the time.
That's what I'm talking about, Ruth and Mo.
Lost
That's when
track
you're
of
doing
the
good
time.
shit.
Anybody know the inside story story? Todd, do you know what the inside story? What happened to Harold's on 87?
Their rent went up.
Is that what happened? The rent went up.
What do you mean on the Ryan? Yeah.
Their rent. I mean, it's like developers like. So basically, all these malls and strip malls are bought by companies and their acquisitions, and then what they do is like that's a hot ass corner.
Yes.
They can take that and market it to, they're going. Did you see what they did on the other? Have you seen the plaza? So they're knocking down all of those. They're rebuilding all of those. Like, have you been by the plaza?
The inside.
Yeah, they're not. Even though that's not, but they're turning them, and then they got a whole package that they give to the whole thing. So that mall would be like a Marshall's, a blah 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 blah. Like, go look at.
I got you. Like a Chipotle, GNC. Like they'll
Bingo.
always be the.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think he said they wanted $3,000 more a month. I'm like, what?
In the middle of the pandemic?
Huh?
In the middle of a pandemic?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's just their way of saying you got to go.
So it's safe to say most restaurants don't own the buildings.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd, Stroger, Ruthie Moore, and Miss Sonia Escobar. Todd and Ruthie are still working on their list of black people. Dang, that paper is so empty. Shout out to look, and y'all know y'all said Alderman Burnett. Beulah said Alderman Burnett because she knew I was gonna get in, but Beulah like the alphas, so we don't really count what Beulah got to say. No,
right? She should have said. Should have said then Howard Brookins.
Then she would have really failed. At least she picked a Sigma in that mix. Hey y'all, I am excited today. Today, 1 to 3 p.m. today, the Bigs. Terrence Tomlin, Eugene McIntosh. Tucson is over here trying to get his numbers up. Look, we're gonna have to ban Tucson from the morning from the Lions Den. He around here recruiting people off our numbers. Look, if the competition has already started, can I tell y'all what? Who y'all think gonna be number one? I think the morning show stays number one.
Oh, I think so.
I think the morning show stays number one.
That goes without saying.
Let's see now. And while I like Mike and Diz, I think the Bigs might come number 2.
I think people are craving intellectual sports conversations.
I'm telling you. And then, I think Herb and 2 gonna be fighting with their, Herb and 2 now, we call them intellectual thuggery. Because, 2, everything 2 say is, yeah, but can you beat my beep, though? It's like his answer to everything is. But, I used to have my boy Fred Harris in high school. Like, he used to always be like, yeah, but can you with my, and it'd be like, dang. Then I went
across this line.
Right, baddest one hit my hand first. All right, hey y'all. I also want to make sure that we do not show. Can Showtime? I want to spend a little time on Showtime. Did y'all see that the state of Illinois, our Lieutenant Governor and Sonia Harper, as well as all the Latinos from DCEO, where they fired the black people who were there passing out the grants to black business. Now there was millions of dollars in grants. We wound up with $2 million, and it got redistributed. But the point is, the state is saying that they're investing $2 million to help small businesses learn how to get contracts from the state. Y'all hear that? They are investing $2 million. Let me just do this one more time. Mm-hmm. They're investing $2 million to teach small businesses how to do business with the state. How about this? How about the state do business with small businesses? Like, do y'all understand? Like, here's the thing. It's like, again, the child molester teaching you how to avoid child molesting.
I'm guessing from my past that this is in response to people complaining about the paperwork.
It's in response to people listening to the morning show.
Yep.
And people becoming awakened to how people have been enriching themselves off of the government for years, and they don't teach that in civics class.
Thank you, Ruthie Moore. Ruthie Moore, let me tell you what is Ruthie.
Mace was just saying they didn't need this.
I agree, but they don't. Here's the thing, Todd. It's like when they get heat. Like, so right now, everybody's getting heat because they done been letting these white boys get away with this $60 million a month. Right? And we remember it was the criminal justice reform, all the stuff that happened. And now they ain't got nothing, right? The mayor running around here dropping everything off. The heat is coming back to the state. So what do the black legislators do? Give me a press conference. Find me some money. And so they can answer what's in it for the black people. Mm-hmm. But again, why don't they write the contracts so people can get them? Like, can I say that unbundling all of these processes, if I go over to those file cabinets, I could really I could give you all the stuff that they're going to say that they're going to do. They're going to say, we're going to unbundle contracts. They're going to say, beyond unbundling contracts, we're going to make them into smaller pieces so that individuals can get them. We're going to provide you with technical assistance so that if you can't fill out the paperwork, we're going to do, right? They've been doing this. This is the proverbial dog and pony show. Right? And it's like you put $1 million behind something, you get a press conference, and then you say, we're going to teach. Like, so.
Because $1 million still sounds like a lot of money.
Right. $1 million sounds like a lot of money. And if you, the two firms that's going to be teaching the technical assistance, that is a lot of money. That is. You could pay 2 people $200,000. You could pay 4 people $200,000 each.
Yeah. And
still have $1 million left over, $1.2 million left over.
Yeah.
Right? So, here's what you're seeing now. And again, y'all gonna have to come better than this. Like, this is the thing. It's like, if you, and quite frankly, you can time all of this with our conversations. Like, if you think about the conversations that we had last week with just Juan being here, and we talked about the people, the associations. Remember when I was like, don't let these people be all up and let you take pictures and have fun, and then they got millions of dollars in special event contracts, and you taking the pictures and the white people making the contracts.
Right.
Right? And remember we talked about who, what, where, when, why, and how, and now all of a sudden, who, what, where, when, why, and how are having a press conference talking about they giving $2 million. Now, I'm not here to front anybody off. I'm just saying, that's a sellout move. Right? How does that help? You got 2 Latinos standing up, passing out millions of dollars to black people, but they fired all the black people who was in charge of it in first. Now they're going to come back. Now nobody's going to say, what? Can we look at DCEO? How many black people are at DCEO? You realize the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. You know what happened with that department?
What?
When J.B. Pritzker won, the Latinos said, we want that. Guess what happened? They got it. And that's where all these grants are coming through. That's where the CARES Act is coming through. That's what. Now, who you got on that? Nobody. Remember? And then it was funny because you know what was the crazy part? It was a black man running all those grants. And they had a Latina come in, and first of all, they brought him in. They said, you got to go. Well, no, they didn't. They fired all the black people in his department and left him there. Yeah, he was recruiting black people left and right. Right? Get in here. Come on, DCO. Mm-hmm. Fired him. No, fired all his people. Replaced them with Latinos. Then told him he had to sit outside his office. Put him outside his office where he reported to a Latina, and then the Latina fired him. And now they back redistributing $2 million of the grants when it was $20 million to be passed out. See how that'll be working? Y'all be getting, but Tim Scott's the sellout.
I knew Maze was gonna circle back to that. When Maze get on the point, boy, he will circle it back, loop it around.
Thank you. Thank you again, Sonia. Please repeat that, Sonia. Did I lie? That's the answer to my question all the time. Like, here's the thing.
I don't know. Most people didn't care about Tim Scott. To be honest with you, I would say most people didn't watch.
I agree, but I think that's why we're here. I think that most people don't watch what happens with their money at the city council. No, they don't watch what happens with the state money. That's why they can put up $2 million when they got $300 million, right? And tell you, ha ha ha, we did. I bet you somebody was like, this is what's in it for the black people. $2 million. We got $2 million. They got $200 million.
Yeah.
Got him. How they do it? Got him. Black lollipop, oh lollipop, lollipop gang, oh
Maze
lollipop.
is starting to write his own lyrics now.
All right, y'all. Todd, you got anything you want to tell anybody before we get out of here?
No. Not really. I can't think of anything.
Ruth and Mo. Look at Ruth. Ruth, I love how Ruth. I want y'all to see how Ruth.
Let me tell you why I don't like being on video, because I have not mastered the art of the facial expression.
Woo!
I'm working on it though.
I would tell you, your facial expressions. I really want to have a Ruthie cam.
No,
I might just put one up.
Cam.
I might just be like, what? Like we need to just record your facial expressions and make them mean.
No, I need a button over here so I can push it, so I can like turn the camera on the top.
She be like, what the? Yeah, okay. This is the Maze Jackson Show. We got to get out of here. So, for my co-host, Todd Stroger, for Ruthie Moore with the facial expressions, you and Carrie, if I could put, like, time-lapse cameras on y'all faces. Plus, Miss Sonia Escobar, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, still tell them. Maze said, we out of here. Peace. No, I feel like Tim Scott was. I do think nobody really watched Tim Scott yesterday, and I messed up because I didn't print my 4th page, which had all my clips with the timestamps. You should go back and listen to that speech. Like it was.
Willie Preston pumped him up.
So I think like there's 2 types of people, right? I think, and I might fit in that group. I think Willie fits.
There's
in that
rich
group.
and there's poor.
I like Willie Wilson's narrative because it's kind of similar a little bit. I mean, in terms of I was,
But if he spoke at the Republican National Convention, I'd be like, "You Tom ass."
No, I wouldn't because I actually have been privy to see what Willie has been doing in the black community. So I'll just be like, I think that speech will resonate different.
I realize that rich people hang around with rich people, so.
But I say that I think like with the Tim Scott, I think because we ain't from South Carolina, right? Like I think the same thing could potentially be there. Like I'd love to see what his company was, and I'm probably gonna do some research. I'm gonna try and get him on the show. Matter of fact, no, I mean I think it is. I'd love to get. Here's what I feel like. I feel like Democrats and Republicans need to be sitting their ass right in here, right? Like y'all got the Breakfast Club, we got the Chicago Club, right? Think about this though. No Democratic candidate even came to VON. No. Think about that. Like, now Joe Biden, like that's supposed to be the most historic black station in the country.
Yeah.
No, they didn't even put them on the roster, right? Like, so when you like again, who ignores us more? Right, like, and I understand, but like I saw commercials. Now maybe this is for Northern Indiana. Maybe they need it for Indiana. They ain't gonna win Indiana because they got Pence. So, but I saw commercials, right? To me, right now, if you are, this is the same thing that's happening with Diddy right now. Y'all know this shit is out here. Y'all gonna ignore it, so y'all can ignore Revolt. You can keep on, but he gonna get his 2 points, and you gonna be fucked. Cause you again, white folks is rather to say, shut him up, he ain't, or he trying to come up, instead of saying, damn, he got a media outlet. Like, we just need to be there. Right? If you are talking to 250,000 people, like if you, like that ain't a guess, that shit is right there in your white people analytics. You can miss it if you want to, teaching me a lesson, and it's some nigga somewhere telling them, skip that. It is.
No, I'm sure.
It's a black person like, man, fuck them, don't do that, don't do whatever, blah, blah, blah. Right? Instead of saying like, damn, Maze is a capitalist, right? He wants to grow his station, right? White folks say like this, man, we got $50 million to spend. They first go down their list and say, who do we know that has this entities?
Right.
Then they say, after they know that they got their people, then they say, who can give us our delivery? We say, how can we shortchange as many niggas as possible?
So how will money be spent in Illinois? Will it be through a Biden something, or is it through the DPI?
Well, I don't think they'll give money to DPI, right? I think DPI will try to use their own and do their thing and tie. They're going to put Trump in all the mailers, and then it'll still be the same program, right? Which is I'm trying to protect my House majority, etc.
Right.
I think the rest of it comes to it'll take large donors to say we got to put some money in Chicago if they decide to say that. Mm-hmm. We saw them say that with Hillary last time, right? I don't think there'll be a tremendous amount of focus on Illinois, quite frankly, because we're a blue state. He's going to win there. It's like...
Oh, yeah. They never...
But I think that... What I do think is that what we should do... Like, I feel like... a lot of outsiders. So I was just thinking, like, there are no black political operatives from Chicago that are part of the Biden team.
Mm-hmm.
Not like anybody who can affect change. Mm-hmm. They got all the people that wear the suits, that make joke, that go to all the Democratic fundraisers, that kiss ass, right? Like, and they, like, again, I keep thinking of, like, I'll give you a perfect example. I think that Carrie K. Steele is probably one of the most complete political packages that you could have right now. In spite of all the stuff I talk about with women and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How is... See, I don't want to put her on blast. So I'm going to stop. Because I don't want people to feel like but I feel like I'm looking like, who's picking the surrogates? Like, if I'm Joe Biden, that's who I want on the campaign trail talking to women. Mm-hmm. Right? In Illinois, getting people fired up. They're not doing that. Right? Now, you can say it's because of me, but Carrie and me are different, and it becomes the independent woman doing her thing. I think, like...
Well, then I wonder who decides that. I mean, you know.
Well, but I'm saying, like, so here's what you got. You got, like, who does Anna Valencia convince? Like, seriously. Like...
Ruthie.
No, I'm saying, like, so you got... Like, I'm saying to myself... Like, when I read the political papers and when I'm looking at all these niggas running around here, like, thank you, like, the same hustle. There used to be a time when black people, let me back up. When I first got into the game, I invited people to be on fundraisers, right? Give me $200, I'm gonna put you on a fundraiser and you can help me raise this money. And we were able to bring in black people that you knew from Chicago. Now what has happened is the black people in control aren't really black from Chicago. They are black foreigners that, or not even fucking black. They playing that fucking African game, right? Which is like, again, this, which drives me freaking nuts because they got this whole, like, but again, we give the fucking Arabs and everybody else the props because they'd rather give access to somebody they can use as African as compared to somebody who's gonna be like, no, you can't say that shit, right? You can't. So what happens is, what's happening right now with Joe Biden is that all of the progressive black people who have learned to play the game, right, and be like, man, I'm gonna be with the Jan Schakowskis and I'm gonna have all the, those are the people that then get picked to put on the campaign. Right, and what they do is they go, now I'm some foreign guy from somewhere who ain't from Chicago that came here and I got some props because of whatever. right? Not that I ain't never seen your ass on no campaign trail. You've assumed that now you supposed to be you coming to our fucking meetings, and now you talking about you want to run for some shit and you ain't did nothing. Like, where the fuck did you come from? Now, that now becomes who is the point person for black access. Now, if you're a black young entrepreneur and somebody calls you and asks you to be on a Joe Biden fundraiser, you're going to do it, right? And thus empowering an outside white boy, black, somebody from outside of our community as the access to Joe Biden. Right? So now here's what you got. So now what you got is, I'll give you Joe Biden right now. And this isn't a diss. This is just what I see. So I see that Joe Biden is now the Democratic nominee. There was no opportunity for anybody black with experience who is not just there wasn't an opportunity to, like, quite frankly, if I am Joe Biden, I call Mays up. I say, before this shit even gets started, let's figure this out. Right? I think that's how they do white people. When it's black people, they say, cut his ass off. Right? So right now, what you have is the point person for Joe Biden and a black person being a black person that's not from Chicago. Right? And he ain't really black. But niggas is on this Kamala Harris bullshit. So the dude gets to be the access point, and if you are a young aspirational black trying to climb, what you gonna say? You ain't black enough, or what? Damn, all you know is this dude got access to Joe Biden, or getting your name on a fundraiser or doing whatever. You don't bestow that power to somebody locally because somebody locally would know how to use that. Right? So what you do is you go give it to somebody who makes everybody feel comfortable, right? And it's like, again, think about, I just, like, even with the whole Anna Valencia thing, like, do y'all understand, like, where did she come from?
Is she a spokesperson for somebody?
She was a downstater. She worked on Durbin's campaign. She worked on Rahm's campaign.
Oh shoot! I was thinking about running against her at one point. And I was like,
but I'm saying,
I was thinking the same way. You're like, who is she?
But she has no base, right? Like, she latched on to our guy, and then now she trying to be the fucking Secretary of State.
Oh, really?
Right. Like, think about the gravity of that.
Well, but shouldn't you always want to be something bigger?
But think about the gravity of that. Think about the gravity of you are supposed to be part of 27, and you go. You know our guy. You know what? And you go to Mr. White and you go ask him before you talk to our guy?
Right.
Like, no. Fuck no. And it's like, all of this shit just gets to get a pass. And it's like, I say something and it's like, the world is ended. Right? Like, you're, like, who are these people? Where do they come from? She don't even speak Spanish. Right? So now, here's the thing. So now y'all, and it's like, I sit here and I say to myself, like, what fucking world do we live in when this shit, like, we let this shit happen? And think about this. Do y'all understand that we, like, with no base, no home, no nothing, we have just gave away a pretty big spot.
Her home is 27. And she lives there or something?
So, here's my challenge. My challenge with all of these things is we tend to...
Black people are welcoming people.
Too fucking welcoming.
We're warm, too.
Right?
Oh, yeah, that's the one. We're forgiving. That's the
and so, no, for everybody but us. Because we ain't that way for us. We'll be like...
We get the pitchforks when the crowd comes.
And so, right, we get the rope. They be like, hang a nigga, get the rope. I got the rope, dog. So I think, as I look at like, I really don't feel like there's a place for black men in the Democratic Party right now. Honestly, I don't.
I agree.
I don't feel like there is a place for me.
I think, but you gotta make the place. You gotta fight it.
I agree, but again, you fight it and then you become a woman hater, right? Like, there is no place for a black man in the Democratic Party right now. Not a strong black man. You could be a gay black man, you could be a progressive black man, but you cannot be a black man with some nuts in the Democratic Party. Unless you got money.
Right, well, yeah, because money, everyone knows that.
And so when you think about it, like when I'm sitting around, like, what is the opportunity for a black man to succeed in the Democratic? And I think that that's one of the things that I don't think that people are seeing, and I think it's very quietly being said by black men, and it's like we're being alienated every single day in the process. And even as they keep talking about the Kamala Harris, and I'm not against black women, but it's like everything is women. And again, y'all could vote at 96. Y'all could vote at 96, we voted 92, and we drive y'all ass to the poll.
Even black men don't mention black men now.
Because if you say too much about a black man, then the first thing they call... Man, do you know how many times I've been called misogynist? And it's like this. I'm not going to say chauvinistic, but I do believe in gender roles. Right? I still get... Do you understand? I get out of the car and wait for my wife to get... I get out, walk around, and wait for her to get out, and she don't get right out the fucking car. She be in there. I'll be like, you knew we was parking. Why you still doing it? Right? I get out the car. I'll be standing outside like I'm the butler. Right? I still open the doors. Like, I think there is a place for black women and men. And I'm not saying that women aren't capable of leading at all. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that whenever there is an opportunity, the easiest way to take out a black man is a black woman. Right. White folks recognize that. That's why anytime there is an appointment or anytime there's an open seat, they look for a black woman. Like, they look for a black woman or a woman to go in and speak. And, like, quite frankly, what black men are there politically that haven't been castrated? Like, I mean, think about how Lori Lightfoot treats black men. Like, seriously. Tony Crackwinkle. When black men speak up to try and get a piece of the cannabis, right? When they talked about trying to talk about what's going on, they're foolish. I mean, and we get to be the joke. We get to be because we get all of the, right? And so, and then to say like, damn, so here's a nigga who got, here's a brother who is not walking around busted, right? You know, if you, first of all, if you climb up a political ladder any kind of way, at least back in the day until Trump, the political guys in college, you knew they was going to be political, right? You was like, that, not me so much, but you knew, like, the candidates, you was like, this motherfucker is planning his life around being this thing, and he's got a program. Peace out, Ruthie Mo.
I'll see y'all tomorrow. You coming back, Todd, right?
Yeah, I'm coming back.
Gangsta Ruthie. Ruthie G in the building.
You thought she was gonna say you bet not come back.
Somebody bring your lunch money.
I'm peaceful.
I wish I'm gonna start a Ruthie cam though. I really am. No. So I think we gotta, it's almost like in this process I just don't feel like there's a place for me in the party. I think there's a clearly defined space for white men. I think there is a clearly defined space for black women.
You got to make your place.
Or you make a different space.
Like I say, you think those people wanted my dad to... No, they just acquiesced because they lost the race. Once they lost the race, they were like, okay.
I got you, but again, if you can employ the the black woman against you, right? Which is what they're gonna do. Like, again, the black woman can't be complicit in that. And I'm not, this ain't a woman bash. It's like every woman that has been elected, if you tell them, like if you just look at the ones that were put in place that replaced black men, they would be offended at that inference, right? Like, it almost is offensive to infer that they went and recruited Juliana Stratton to take out Ken Duncan, but they really did.
Right.
And she said, I volunteered. Right? If you think about, and again, she didn't call him and say, hey, black man, I don't want to end your career. She said, do what y'all got to do.
Right.
And she is rewarded for that. How has that worked out for us? We got $2 million to reinvest in how to do business with the state. That's crazy to me. It's crazy to me, and it's going to be more of the sizzing. Ooh. So, I don't know, man. I just think we got to figure out this whole thing, because I just don't think right now. I don't think right now there's a space for us, and until we find that space, I think they're going to have a problem. I think Tim Scott, quite frankly, I don't think a lot. I think what I challenged was the number of people that immediately, reflexively called him a sellout and an Uncle Tom. Not the people who were offended, right? Or not offended. I think the reflex is to say that this nigga automatically is because he's a Republican. I felt that speech was good. Like, she couldn't really point out what was wrong with the speech. It was like, you said it in front of these people. Right?
Yeah,
and it's and again, I think we do have a negative perspective on black success, unless it's like
I don't think we have a negative perspective on black success. I think there's a realization that there's 98 people, there's 100 people in the room, 98 of them are white, there's 2 black folks. You 2 black folks ain't pushing nothing unless they say you pushed it, and more than likely that's not their agenda. They're not going with what you're saying.
And I think more like, so my success in life honestly has to go where black people are not. Right? You go where black people are and they clutter the conversation.
But we're talking politics.
But even
thing.
Politically, right? Like, I think that we have to have a clear sense of where we fit even in that space. Like, to me, you go to that shit and I'm gonna be like, I want my own black da-da-da. I want my own, and they'll probably be like, y'all can have it. Go over there and do your shit. Like, I feel like you could get the Booker T. Washington, like, give us our shit. Let's be set. Like, I saw people saying they were advocating. I don't know if I'm so wanting to be part of white. Like, I said this all the time. Like, if we could have our own shit and then we could deal with the motherfuckers who gonna tear it up, I'd rather just have my own. I don't have to be with white folks. I don't want to say I can't go somewhere, but if I had the ability to build a black community and it was all black with all black stuff and people weren't, and I ain't have to worry about the need, and they weren't under resourced, so I ain't got to worry about this dude coming in my garage, I'm happy to go to work with white people and be in my own space. We do it anyway already.
That's why I'm saying if Ice-T and, I don't know, one of those other T's. No, what's the other one?
Ice-T.
Ice Cube. That's what I like. Right. And some of these other rich guys who they like to make a lot of noise, but they also like to spend a lot of money. But they make a ton of money. Created a bank that was in, New York, Chicago, L.A., maybe Detroit. They could make some real hay.
So I think what we got to do is start. That's the whole think tank thing.
Even if they just decided instead to do Atlanta and New Orleans or something, smaller cities, and work their way up.
I asked Louis Farrakhan to convene a meeting because I felt like he might be the only person that could get everybody in the room. But there was people there that was like, man, we ain't messing with that. Like, it was all around the Madigan stuff too. But I was just like, man, we need to start the black think tank, and it needs to be nationwide, and we need to just put the problems up and say, let the best brains come to us with the answers. And then we all push the answers. It's like hit or miss getting to our celebrities. I feel like Like, it's like, who did this? And I always talk to Mr. H, and he always like black people. I was talking to D Rose's people, actually. And I was like, he was like, man, what can we do for D Rose's foundation? And I was like, why don't y'all build affordable housing? Why don't you take that $100 million that you gonna spend going to parties and stuff and go to somebody like the old man and team up and build affordable housing, and then in 30 years when it converts, then you got an asset and you can rebuild your neighborhood, right? The challenge with the athletes is they want to trade on their athletes or their celebrity, not do necessarily a business deal. And so, like, when you think about the Magic Johnsons and people like that of the world, they have come up on not creating businesses, but being the black partner. And so what you don't have is a lot of people who want to do the business. They want the partnership. They want to do and that to me, Todd, is our biggest issue. It's like, I can give a lot of people a business and show them, and it really requires them showing up. And they don't even show up. And that's the issue. And it's like, so when we had this big old conversation about addressing and workforce development and that's a whole different, so you're saying that we gotta raise grown folks that are put on the field flawed. Now, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, let's just be clear then. I think if you have a warped sense of what normal is, and I'm saying, I guess, we can say what is normal, but again, that's where we start getting into this crazy shit where normal to me is, motherfucker, you get up, you go to work every day, or you got some way to sustain yourself, and you sustain yourself, and your unit is self-contained.
That won't send you to jail.
Right.
Where you leave the family.
And your unit, right. And it's like, I feel like some kind of way we got a justification for, bro, we can justify anything.
Yeah.
We have to have a standard that say we ain't gonna do that.
Right.
Right? Like, it's not that you ain't had the scenario, it's that we're gonna not do, that's not good for us. Right? Like, fuck what you can do, fuck what everybody else thinks. Like, nobody tells the Jewish people that education, that's silly.
Nobody.
No, they say if the premise is you get a good education, there's no pushback on that. Right? It ain't, well, your circumstance, I don't care if you was abused. Nigga, go to school. While you figuring all that out, at least know how to add.
Right. Help yourself.
Yeah, I'm not saying bootstraps, but I'm saying, do y'all think that if we went to war, it's gonna be easy? Do you think y'all just get to sleep till 11? I'm saying, if it's a war and people are killing, do you get to sleep till 11 in the war? No, motherfucker, you have to get up and you gonna have to go do your thing. Revolutionary.
I tell Hans that all the time. Look, man, the rest of the world has already done a million things and are preparing to go home now. You got to get in with the rest of the world. Those people on the computers, shoot. God knows what they're doing and when they're doing it, but they're going to jail at one point. once the government figures it out what they're doing.
Yeah, I just think, I almost feel like my uncles, everybody I saw were hard workers. There was no, they didn't have and they had the Klan, they had every fucking thing, and they had to work through all them circumstances.
Right.
And are we suggesting that there is a bad thing that comes with work? No, work is not slavery. Work is a necessity to survive. And if you think that you just get to get the freeload off the world, that's not how it fucking works. No. But I think what happens is we make the excuse for that. And so we only make ourselves work. We either gonna breed warriors or we gonna breed pussies. And it's the telling me that, well, I haven't been retrained and I'm not tripping on. It's we can make all the excuses we want. And we can stay as broke as we are. That I'm not saying that the 2 out of 9, but if the 2 in the room are conscious of themselves and they know how to manipulate that and they can go hire 50 people, or 100 people, don't denigrate them, right? Like Ebony, Jet, all the big black people, they were all Republicans. They sat in Republican shit when it was even more crazy. They were able to, and this is my thing, it's like you talk about the spook who sat by the door, so let the motherfuckers sit by the door, right? It's like you can't be like, so was John Johnson a sellout, right? Was Robert Senstack a sellout, right? Like, we have always had to do what we have to do to help our people. And if you can get there, like this is how I say it, if you can get there and you remember, then do it. I don't feel like Tim Scott got to Congress and said, screw the black people. He was like, these are the things I know I can get Republicans to do with these opportunity zones and blah, blah, blah. Now, none of us will talk to anybody, right? But like when you went to that conference, like the white boys was like, man, if we have to stop looking at how do we get out of this with benevolence, like hoping that somebody, they got to make it work for them too. Like 48 laws of power. Never approach somebody with the hope that they'll have altruism. Approach them and know that they got to understand what their benefit is. You talk
Ryan Mullen said he talked to the road builders, and they were like, man, if a black person can put it all together, we won't stand in their way. But they got to put it together. We're not doing it.
Right. No, I mean, I talked to the road builders too, and they said the same thing. Now, I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be 1. It ain't gonna be 10, no, right? And they gon', but again, the one person that is, it's like every freaking movie you ever see of the first black person before, they had to work harder. They had to get spit on. They tried to choke him. They tried to kill him. They tried to do everything to him. And after he does all that and proves himself, then he pops up as the Tim Scott. Now, if you watch the movie, that's a champion. Right? I bet you watch all the movies of like the when Denzel was the diver and all that shit. I bet you talk to them motherfuckers, they are American as American can be. Because you know what they want?
You're terrible.
They want...
That's Cuba Gooding Jr.
Okay. But they all want...
Get your movies right.
But they all want the opportunity to live that American dream. Right? And I don't think the American dream is wrong. I think we don't have access to it, so it becomes a nightmare because it's always out of our grasp. But there's nothing wrong with wanting a house, a family, a yard, and to be able to live. And I think that because people don't know that.
Just walk in your house and not get shot?
Todd, I'm saying, like, I don't know if people know the feeling of really just being able to be like on a weekend, like, I got to do once we get through cutting the grass.
You know the problem with we're always on the hustle. Because that was how people figured you always get over.
Right. I'm just saying, like, man, I want people to recognize that it ain't gotta be like that. Like, I'm not saying that it's easy. I work hard, and it's like I make no bones about that. Like, I sacrifice a lot, but in the meantime, I also enjoy life a lot. And I feel like if you've not really ever enjoyed your life, like if your whole entire existence has always been, I gotta survive, then you're mad at anybody that ain't like, yo, like it ain't all that, like, hey, dude, hey man, it's good. It really is good to walk in barefoot in your grass and be like on a Saturday morning, or right, and put your feet up and look at your grill and smoke and see all that stuff and just be, and not even have the pressure of like, it's even people who do that still gotta look out the alley and worry who coming down the alley. Mm-hmm. Right? As compared to being like...
Sometimes I wonder because, I got the grill in the garage and I'll open the door. And I'm like, man, am I actually safe?
Well, or you open the grill in the garage door and you go in the house and now somebody's coming in. You got to worry about somebody going in and taking your bike.
Yeah, right.
Right? Like, instead of somebody saying, like, everybody in the neighborhood is watching. And I'm not saying... I don't know if we really know peace. I don't know if we really know, and I'm not the American dream like, oh, your Uncle Tom, but the American dream of like, goddamn, like at the end of the day, there's money in the bank, paycheck, you got 3 months, 4 months, you got, and again, most people are $1,700 or we got net worth of $1,700. So again, when somebody says, man, go to school and get an education, you like, nigga, how the fuck are you telling me? But you get mad about that, and it's like, no. It's like you're not living a normal existence.
Right.
You are living subsistence. And what I am saying is, when you get away from lack, right, and you get to a place where you can just breathe, like just breathe and just be like, hold on, I paid everything and it's money in the bank. And I can go to, and we went out to dinner, and that's not abnormal. That, it may be abnormal in our community, but it's not abnormal. Like, I was walking down, we was at Wells Street yesterday, and I was just thinking, like, we both was like, really like, damn, look at this shit. Like, and we have a really good existence. But we was just like, I mean, they just walk outside, downstairs, they got flip-flops, they ain't got no concerns in the world.
No.
And I quite frankly, it was good to know that their whole little existence was disturbed a little bit. I enjoyed that. But I'm saying, I don't even know if people know that. Like, I feel like growing up in Bolingbrook, my parents, we didn't do all the stuff that black people, like, we wasn't in the whole, and it, at a certain point, like, they tried to live a simple life. It's a whole bunch of different stuff, but I do feel like I had a sense of normalcy growing up. And that normalcy growing up informs my adulthood.
Yeah.
I feel like if you didn't have that normalcy growing up, white, black, call it whatever the hell you want to call it, then your perspective about life becomes different. And what, like, I got friends that, again, my boy, 40 years old, been to jail twice, got his first job. First job, like literally first job. Like, how do you make it 40 years in the world and your first job is after you get out of jail second time? Now, I'm not judging him, but I'm saying that's not normal.
No, I don't think so.
Now, it may be normal for there, but that's not the way life is meant to be. Yeah. And if you are, then that means that probably in that mix, we have this existence that is a hybrid of government, illegality, and not everybody, but there's a group of people that vacillate between small amount of work or a small job based on lack of education, an illegal economy, and government programming that creates a circle, that creates the circle of their life. If that is your circle, then I'm going to almost bet that normalcy is not like, and again, you can call it what normalcy is. I'm saying exist without having to infringe on anybody else or receive inside, outside. Not saying can't get help, not a diss. I think it's like those are like, their idea is to go, like when I was watching that WBG guy, and he was like, I'll never take my kids outside in the city. I'll go out to the suburbs, but I'm never taking them outside because I know the life I live. Now, I'm just saying, and it was completely normal to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's not normal.
Right.
And it's hard to, I almost feel like people try to treat me as elitist for just saying like, man, I want better for y'all. Like I want you to be able to experience. Part of the reason that, and even with the people I talk about here, I say part of the reason we're doing this is because I hate being the only guy. I hate being the only one of my crew that's doing it. I want all of the people that are involved.
Hey, you're Dre.
What?
In Blackish.
Oh, yeah, though.
I saw that episode.
Oh, I didn't see it, but I'm tired of, like, I want to call my boys and say, man, yo, I want to get the fuck up out of here. Let's go to blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And everybody be like, they ain't say, man, I want to be able to say, everybody put up a stack, let's go. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people who can do that, particularly white, and it's normal for them. Like,
oh yeah,
I realize that's not our existence, but I'm saying that it's not impossible for us to get there. And I'm saying that I come from the most humble beginnings. I do. My parents, I told you, we didn't even have a AM radio in the car. Now, my parents, I'm not saying that we were poor. I'm saying that my parents were frugal, extremely frugal. But they gave me a toolbox that by the time I was done, you could drop me anywhere and I'm going to succeed. Mm-hmm. Period. Everybody's parents didn't give him that. Now, Tim Scott's parents didn't give him that. He, along his way, ran into somebody, this Chick-fil-A guy, who was a business owner who said, hey man, and I've had white guys that impart wisdom on me because they think I'm special, right? I've used that wisdom and I'm still Maze Jackson.
But I would argue that his mother is the one who was able to make him see the light that gave him the ability to do
I'm not debating that. But at some point, his mom says... I
guess he didn't have a father then, huh?
They left that early. Well, everybody has a father. They just left early, I think.
Well, some of them aren't around.
But, no, I'm saying, but they have a father. It's just...
They just don't have a dad.
Right. I don't take away from his mom. There is a set that your mom says, boy, you're not going to fail. Like, you got to get to work. I'm going to beat your ass till you go to school every day. And you ain't going to be laying around my house. You're going to get a job. Now, that's a skill set that his mom gave him and gave him the toolbox, the gumption, to get out and never say die or whatever. Then in your life, you run into people, season, reason, or time, and they impart wisdom on you, right?
Oh, I've run into people who, told me little things.
But say I was the guy.
I didn't know.
But I was the guy at McDonald's who actually, the black guy who actually liked McDonald's. I liked working there. Everybody else was like, this is some bullshit. I was like, I read the manual. I did. And the managers recognized that, right? Now, all my boys was like, man, yo ass, man, I'll be like, you cannot flip the burger that way. You can't use two. I would be on the rules because I saw that there was a path. And as I started to have these conversations, and it's like the wheat separates from the chaff. Right? So now we got all of us out working. I'm driving all these niggas to work, right? I'm rising. They're not. Now, at that same time, I'm trying to get as much information from everybody around me. And whenever I see somebody doing something I want to do, I go over there. I say, damn, you rich as hell. How did you get rich? What did you do? What parts, right? The old man, he will give me lessons all the time. And I'll sit there for, like we sat here for 2 hours, right? Now imagine this white guy says, damn, I got all these niggas working for me. All these black people working for me. And when I tell them to go clean the bathroom, they like, man, I ain't going there. I got to hear all that stuff. I was the guy when they said go clean the bathroom. I just geared up and sprayed the whole thing down. And by the time I got there, everything was on the floor anyway, right? And somebody says, man, if I'm going to promote somebody, I'm not going to promote the nigga with the attitude. I'm going to promote the person that says whatever circumstances I'm in, I'm going to make the best of them.
Right.
And so for me, and then now this guy who, whether he has racial tensions or whatever it is, says, man, I see something in that kid that I can help pour into. I will give you John Joyner as my example, right? I thought I knew politics all up and down the back world, right? Then I go work in 18 and I learn a whole... John Joyner turns me on to white politics. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, holy shit. And now, all of the stuff that I now can tell you, I got because John put me in the white circle, not the black circle, right? So and now I got in the white circle, and now I'm at Pat Quinn's, and I'm the only black person in that place, right? And I got Pat Quinn as a client, and we know who he is. So am I a sellout now? Or now am I putting myself in a position that 10 years from now, I can be able to share this information? And you got to pay a price to get to the spot. And racism is one of them that we have added. Nobody gets to the top of the pile unless your parents own the company without hard work.
Oh, yeah.
Now, add hard work and racism. Right now, the challenge that I think a lot of people say is, I think when you are in that position, you have to decide whether you're going to stop and address every racial issue, or are you going to say, okay, I'm going to ignore race as an issue in my climb to the top. Right? Now, most people, I would argue, that have succeeded say, I'm going to pretend like it don't exist. And you steel yourself to that, and as you do it, you make your white way up and you start to make people feel more comfortable. Then there's people like me who maybe you make it, but you can't tolerate it. Like, you gotta talk, you gotta say something, and then you get kicked out the club, which they say, we don't want that. He's smart, but we don't want that nigga around us because he ain't gonna just affirm what the fuck I want to say. So then you get these vanilla ass Negroes that then they raise up as stars, but they ain't battle tested, they ain't did shit, right?
Yeah, but that's why I say, that's why there's no people from the south side or the black side, or the, what's the other one? The west side anywhere. Unless their person is tied to somebody from the top who will keep them in line.
Yeah. Alright, y'all. So y'all got y'all little post show. 142 y'all tuned in. Appreciate y'all. St. Rita. Shout out to all the kids at St. Rita.
They're at home.
Yeah.
Loyola just made the same announcement. Janine thinks that
it's
eventually
St.
Ignatius is going to do it too. Everybody will, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to shut it all down.
Yeah.
I think they're going to shut the schools down, but I think the conversation after the election will switch from cases to death. I think right now cases is the scary thing. I think that they were killing people initially. I think that we have it. I do. I think those ventilators were killing people, and now you got a 95% life rate. You ain't even all these people catching it. They ain't saying the hospitals are over flooded and all that stuff.
I don't think that. I think what happened was, I don't want to quite put it that way, but the weaker people died quickly. You know, they weren't going to make it no matter. Even with the ventilators, it was all touch and go. And now you're getting people who are still catching the virus, but they're not having those
muscles.
Terrible symptoms.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. That was it. I am out of here.